Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your man Chris Thorns. Guess who back? Guess who back? Took a little vacation from this or whatnot. Before I go any further, how do my sound? Do I sound okay, or do I sound like I'm underwater, or what do I sound like? Brother Max has not came on the panel yet. Still trying to see what's going on with that. Hopefully he's okay. Hopefully he's not having any difficulties. Trying to get on, whatever the case may be. So they went ahead and start the show anyway. But first of all, before going further, how do I sound? Is my audio okay? Hey, that's a good one, Keenan. That's a good one. That's a good one. I actually like that one. That's a good one. Yeah, but like I said, I took a little small break from this and whatnot. Had to get some things taken care of, had to get some things straight. So, trying to get back in the swing of things. So, man, what do y'all say about all these shooting and shit that's going on? What the fuck is going on, man? Really? This shit is getting worse. Look like by the days, by the weeks, by the hour, by the minutes, by the months. What is really going on? Is it something in the air, or is it something in the food, or what? What else, go? What up, Duran? Peace, Journey. How you doing, boo? Chastity, Celine, how y'all doing? Thank y'all for coming. Conduit, Saneta, excuse me. So, yeah, what y'all think about all this shit that's going on, man? Hands up and you still getting shot. What's up with that? They posted that the cop got charged with that. She got charged, and I think that's a good deal. I think that's a good deal. But here's the thing I'm confused about. I mean, I don't know much about laws in other states or whatever, but they say that the guy did have a gun on him. Can somebody confirm that? They say he did have a gun on him, but does they still justify it? Hold on, people. Hold on. What's up, homie? What's up? It ain't? Okay, let me see if I can invite you, bro. I'm gonna see you the invite, see if that works. Let me see if I can do an invite. I'm gonna invite you to it. Let me see if that works. All right, Keenan. Sorry about that. That was him just calling me then. I think he having trouble getting on. So let me see if I can do an invite. Let's see if this works. So, anyway, yeah, I want to ask y'all, in y'all opinion, was that a good call that she got charged? Considering that some people say that he did have a gun. I don't know if they make much of a difference or not. Does it? Aslan, what's going on, brother? EK, what's up? Long time, my guy. What's going on with you? But yeah, I mean, does it make any difference that you had a gun on them? Does it really make any difference? So what? I know with King, it's a lot of questions in that story. And what's up on here? People talking about the shooting in North Carolina, something like that. What's that all about? Somebody feed me in on that. Are you on, brother?
Yeah, I'm on, brother. You can hear me?
Oh man, yeah. Salute to you, my guy.
Right back.
Man, yeah. How's the little one?
We all good, man. We gotta get a surgery on their legs.
Oh man, sorry to hear that, man. Sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
So is that the dandy thing you had go for me on? That's what you're talking about?
Yes, sir. It's serious. It's serious. It's serious than what most people think. And I think it's a lot of cases where people don't even know about that they should be informed in because they're telling me it's hereditary. Well, not and nobody in my family ever had nothing like that, or was ever told that they had to use leg braces to walk.
Oh
So
man, damn.
you know what I mean. I really don't know where
Right.
it's coming from. It could be the medicines that they did give her.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? A lot of medicine nowadays, man, is not safe for no children. It seems like nowadays, man. Hey, I'm sorry to hear that, brother, but I hope everything turn out well, my guy.
Yeah, it's all good.
So when surgery?
You said what?
When is the operation?
I'm not. I ain't give no clearance to that yet. I know it's on the table because they saying it's needed. So I'm just letting that weigh on my brain real quick. So
Okay, okay. Well, again, brother, sorry to hear that. You got my blessings, man. Hope all works well with that, man. And as always, salute to you, my guy.
So
Okay, okay. So, apologize for the first time we try to do this, man. Things went kind of crazy and shit. So, this shit in the bud, man. So, we're gonna get it better today. So, let me ask you, man. I'm gonna put this link out there so people want to get on the panel to talk with you. But while I'm doing it, man, you're hearing all this crazy shit about the shootings and folks even got their hands up, but they still getting shot. You know what I'm saying? It's tragic.
right.
It's tragic, man.
Well, people
Give your thoughts on that, brother.
people need to be aware of the reality show that's going on, and what I mean by that is, they're broadcasting this on our public systems, Facebook, YouTube. You can search the murders of black people, young black males in general. It's becoming a reality show. It's like every week we're gonna start seeing this. They want a response from the black community to riot in order to bring martial law in. It's all a plan, and ultimately they'll get to that plan because, as we know it, we've been seeing tanks and armory around New York, around Alabama, around Washington, around Virginia. It's been armory and tanks that's been deployed around those states and cities. So people really need to know, the riots gonna cause the martial law. It's gonna be
Yep.
corresponding to that. It's gonna be responding to that.
Black boy, what's going on, brother? How you doing, brother?
I came by. I
What's
had a
going on?
long day, but I have to, brother and Chris, I had to come support, man. I love this, what everybody's doing. What I just tuned in, so what this brother just said, I agree with about 85%. The other 15 that I don't agree with is that martial law has started already. Believe it or
Get the
not,
point. In a
They
form,
taking small steps. Yeah. They
right.
taking small steps.
In a way, you're right, and I definitely agree with that. But the martial law, to as we know it, to maybe bring a neighborhood panic hasn't occurred yet. So
Well,
when
North Carolina, they can't come outside after like what 9 or 10 o'clock. In
wow,
Charlotte,
wow,
Yeah,
yeah,
I heard they got a
yeah. Right
curfew
now in
now. I heard
Charlotte,
they put a
you
curfew
come out
in.
after 9 o'clock at night, it's gonna be a problem
and like
So
what kind of problem? What them boys
because
facing?
of the riots. So they, I guess, quote unquote, are oh, okay. I see this brother's on the same thing I'm on. Quote unquote,
Well,
you.
it's real talk with Brother Thorne, and
I got OG Kush. OG Kush,
okay,
what you got?
okay. We Incredible Hawk. We going in incredible
Okay,
thing.
okay, go ahead and say what you were saying, brother. Didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh yeah, but I was saying martial law to as the bring a panic to the people as it haven't occurred yet, and that's something we gotta take notice to, because it will be a lot of more killings. It will be a lot of more riots, and then you got a lot riots, police equals more killings. More killings equal more rioting. They're gonna bring the Homeland Security in. They're gonna start bringing. To me, I think they're gonna start bringing other like Russians. They might bring other military bases in. That way, they can have a reason to blame it on somebody. Like we ain't do it. The Russians did it. You know what I mean? The Cubans did it. But they're gonna bring other forces in, allied forces, so they can have somebody to blame. Because that's what America do. They love playing the blame game. It's a game you gotta understand. They're trying to keep population to a. So when we get population right here, they can control the people. They're gonna control the people through the money, through the banks, through the centralized banks, the Rothschilds. Rothschilds funding what's going on in America. Plus he's funding Iraq. But this is a Jewish man. That's what y'all gotta understand.
okay. I see my man EK on the panel. What's up, brother? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I was just listening to Brother Max speak. That's all.
Okay.
What's going on, brother? What's going on? I'm glad.
Yeah, this EK. It's been a while since it's been on. EK, so what you heard Brother Max said, man? You got anything you want to add on to it, or what's your thoughts on all this that's going on?
It's funny, and I'll put it to you like this. Um, Something like this goes down. We all get upset. We get mad. Why did someone have to die? What exactly was it? They said they scared. They feared for their life. In some instances, the guy had a gun. In some instances, they thought he had a gun. In some instances, it was apparent to everybody he didn't have a gun. That dude in Florida had his hands up on the ground, got shot. So we get upset.
Mm-hmm.
That is upsetting in of itself. That you that happens, and the people who are involved, they just get put on some administrative leave. They still and to them, I understand from their point of view, it's not cut and dry whether they're going to get off. Okay, because like Max was saying, there's a lot of different stories about a lot of different cases like this. So it's like you got to kind of put them together comprehensively and look at how it goes. So something like that happens. And a lot of them believe that
So
they have the backing of the blue wall, right? Some of them believe that. So some of them might legitimately have made a mistake, and it might be a career-ending mistake, and sometimes they might be fortunate enough to get cover, but some of them don't know that. There are some of them, however, who just assume the wall is going to be there for them. I watched the video today. The guy was buying drugs, selling drugs, whatever. He bailed on the cops, ran into their car, took off. They chased him down. And during the chase, you can hear the one guy say, "I'm going to kill him." He gets out the car when the guy wrecks, unloads 4 in his chest. The dude dies. Now, it's his own personal carry. It's a whatchamacallit, a short barrel AK. He takes that back to the truck, fishes out, and this is because they've got cameras in the truck. They got people on the street videotaping. They time-lapse them all together, so it's real time. He goes into the truck, goes in his duffel bag, comes out with something in his hand while everybody's still parking and taping off the block. He gets back in the car, and all of a sudden now they find a pistol in the car. Now watch this. This guy left that force, moved to another state. The investigation was going on. Maybe 2-3 years later, They came and got his ass, locked his ass up because the only DNA found on the gun was his.
All right, brother, and I'm
You see what I'm
sorry to
saying? So
interrupt what you
some
said.
people on that side of the fence, they do
Yeah,
it, they get caught. Some of them don't. So this chick in Tulsa, they've charged her with manslaughter. Whether she gets convicted of it or not, some people might be placated. I'm not. It's a little bit bigger than that. I'm upset like everybody else, but it's like there are some cops on the force, on anybody's force. There are some of them camouflaged amongst the good ones whose only goal out there is to live that wild, wild west attitude.
all right. Let's say if the roles were reversed, and me and you are cops, but
Mhm.
wherever you at, I don't know what state. I'm in another state as well. Now
Uh-huh.
it's a trend, as I'm seeing black cops kill white boys, and we getting away with it. So, before how many times does it become a mistake, conscious or
Oh no,
unconscious?
I think no. Listen, I'm not. Here's what I'm getting at. It's the argument. I'm not making this an argument like that's what justifies it. If you're going to win a battle of wits, you have to understand how your adversary thinks. And the
Is
reason
it?
why I bring that argument up is because a lot of times when you're talking to somebody else about what happened, the first thing they want to say is, well, they told him to sit down. They told him to put his hands up. He wasn't compliant. He wasn't compliant. Everybody I know will say, well, if you carry, you're supposed to let them know you're carrying, blah, 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 blah. Don't ruffle their feathers. Don't make them afraid. I understand that. I get that. This jackass in whatchamacallit in Tulsa was in the middle of the highway with his hands up. He was not. I mean, you might say, okay, stop moving, whatever. He was going to put his hands up on the car. You say you're afraid of his life, and you unload into him. It's not like he was coming at you or he made any sudden moves. You follow
True.
me? The guy in
So,
Florida, he was on the ground with his hands up. He was
did
on
you
the
hear
ground
about?
with his hands up in clear
Did you
view.
hear about Tyree King, the 13-year-old boy who got shot by the police 5 days ago?
He had a was it a pellet gun or a BB gun or something? They
Yeah,
thought he had
Pentagon or something.
a
Yeah,
pellet gun.
yeah,
Okay. Now my thing is
yeah.
this, and I was
We
typing this in
we
the comment section.
we
I was
getting
typing.
killed without the permit to carry. You're getting killed with Arizona and Skittles. You're getting killed with your hands up.
Mhm.
So we don't have a defense system at all. We getting aimed down. We getting penetrated. We getting penalized as a people for skin color. That's what I see.
I mean,
Hey,
I'm
brother
not, I'm
Max.
not, I'm not debating. I'm
Hey,
not arguing that point. I'm
hold on,
just
EK.
Me
saying,
neither. Me
Hold on,
either.
EK. Let me ask Brother Max a question real quick. They did a video showing him pointing his gun, which is like a real damn gun, and everybody running for their life because it looking like a real gun.
Okay.
You know, I don't remember the story of how he got shot. I don't know if he pointed the gun at the police or whatnot. But if that is the case, him getting shot, would you say that's justifiable or what, brother?
I'm
What's your
I'm not gonna say that's justifiable, but I just seen a video clip earlier of a white man with a machete taunting the police. Like he got it all in their face. All
I've
they
seen them
wanted,
with guns. I've seen them with guns in front of the police. That
you
that
know,
in the country they was these white dudes standing their grounds with rifles and everything.
they won't shoot him
Police
though.
tried
They
to they
won't
tried
shoot
to
him.
talk they tried to talk the situation.
They're gonna
You know
settle.
what I mean?
They're gonna settle. They're gonna preserve their own. That's what they're doing. They'll kill you off. They'll kill us off, but they're gonna preserve their own. They're gonna talk to their own. And we always hear of cases, yeah, they got convicted. But how many of us know they made it to that prison?
They got charged, but
They got
convicted,
charged.
not
But how
convicted
many
though.
of us really know they got charged? Ultimately,
Like
media
that
tell us
lady,
everything.
like that
Media
lady,
tell us everything.
they claim she was charged for first degree manslaughter. We all know
Five,
manslaughter carry a very light sentence,
up to
so
five
she might
years.
get probation.
Up to 5 years. We know this.
She,
You know what I'm saying? Now that's the penalty for killing a man unarmed. See now the penalty when they kill Phil. What's his sentence? Sandra Bland. They gave her family a settlement of 1.9 million, but they told us nobody killed her.
anytime they do settlements, bro, guess what? Anytime it's a wrongful death
hey,
settlement, that's
hey,
so double crossing, man. You'll pay somebody for wrongful death, but they don't
oh,
get
it's mine.
convicted.
That's what I'm saying. They say nobody can.
Hey, let me say something to y'all real quick. Conduit 73 said 2015, 948 people were killed by police and they were male. 494 were white and 258 was black. Wow.
And I'm gonna tell you, brothers, this. Ante up on y'all bullets. Ante up on y'all motherfucking bullets before they quit selling the motherfuckers.
Yeah, I definitely
Ante up on
believe
y'all
it.
guns, man. Ante up on your guns, man. I just went and got me some bullets today.
Yeah,
Fuck that.
it's definitely well needed. And I feel like
These white soldiers are not playing, man.
we shouldn't have no division. If it's gonna get to that point, we all know it might get to a point like that. Where's our military?
What do you say about the EK?
You know what? I will say this. I half agree with that sentiment, but I kind of know a couple of things that kind of make that premature to say. One, I own several firearms. I shoot infrequently. I know a lot of white boys who have a lot of guns who shoot a lot. They actually do a lot of that tactical training, and they've got thousands and thousands of rounds of ammo.
What's that noise?
Yeah, what is that noise?
Is that a kid? Somebody's kid? I don't know.
My kids ain't here this weekend.
Okay, I'm by myself in here. But what I mean to say is, I look at it this way. Let's say we all ante up and we all arm up and we decide to go to town, and we might make a dent. The problem is that the people that our community needs to be that knife edge, we're gonna lose to these guys who have a lot more firepower, a lot more ammo, a lot more resources, a lot more backing. That's what they do.
And I feel like
that's the wrong. That's the wrong. What I'm getting at is, I understand what you're saying. That's the wrong.
Y'all take your time.
Right.
Hey, take your time. Y'all talking over
my point is that's the wrong battlefield to fight them on. That would be the wrong one. If it push came to shove, I would rather die on my feet than beg on my knees. But if you think about it, the people they're gonna take out have the ability to stand up and do that. They're gonna take those people out and leave the, lily liver, the soft, the ones that they can manipulate. Those are only, those are gonna be the only ones left.
Yeah.
So as we do have
a good example of what you're talking about, brother, I feel like would be the Move 9. The West Philly bombed the whole black neighborhood in Philadelphia, and these black men were, they were talking about things we talking about. John Africa, if y'all know about his principles, okay? Y'all follow?
Okay.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about. And so, you don't want to take the force of the community. You don't want to have the community without that knife edge, because I know we mad and we upset. And if push came to shove, we would need to have that kind of a stand. My problem is that, it's kind of a David versus Goliath type of thing, and it's like I have to weigh the options. What are the outcome of winning? Who wins? Even if we do win, let's say we pull off the upset. Then what is that? What do you do from there? Do we now start to treat the white people like they've done us?
Hold on, what's your name? What's your name, brother? What's your name, brother? The guy that was just talking. What's your name, brother?
I don't think there should be a draft.
You can call me EK.
Okay. Oh, let me ask you this.
You can call me EK.
What's going on?
Let me ask you this. Huggy, what's good, baby? What's the word, Huggy?
What's going on, Huggy?
Know what? I don't know what you're talking about. Chris just called me in. I think I'm in a sabotage mission.
let me ask you, brother, something, man. Let me ask you, brother, something. And I'm gonna let somebody else get the floor. Oh, what is that noise? Do y'all believe in the Bible?
No, sir.
My earpiece in. Hold on.
Brother, you don't believe in the Bible?
Hold on. He put my hat on. He put my hat on so I can represent. Okay, what y'all say?
Dallas in the building.
Hold on. I asked, do y'all believe in the Bible?
Y'all believe in the Bible?
Yeah.
Nah.
Okay, well,
I like the stories, and I like some of the stuff that you can apply. But as far as like
I think it's good mythical creatures.
I'm not religious. Let me finish. I'm not religious, but I do want to say this because I'm a Hebrew Israelite. So I do want to say this: is that
wow, brother.
If you believe what?
Wow.
Why you say that?
Powerful.
Why you say wow?
That's powerful. That's good. I'm just saying that's powerful. We need more people from that side to enlighten us about y'all. I feel like.
Yeah. And you know what, man? To be honest, the Hebrew Israelite movement is really growing, man. Because I'm noticing they trying to lowball us and put us in movies and stuff like that. But what I'm trying to say is that if you believe in that Bible, because I do, and I'm like I said, I'm not here to force anything on anybody. But if you read that Bible, you believe in that Bible, you got that faith, you know these things are supposed to happen. Really, there's not no control of what's supposed to happen. It's supposed to happen. This world is going to come to an end, point blank.
Yes, sir.
Point
yes,
blank.
sir.
And I'm going to tell you something. One thing that God gave me beside life that's important, he gave me something called a brain and common sense. And I'm going to tell you something. My common sense and brain tell me, okay, this is God's prophecy and this is supposed to happen because he is coming back.
Yes, sir. And brother, are you under Dr. General Yohana?
Nah, Yahya.
Oh, all right. You familiar with that though?
And Yeshaya. Well, this is the thing. You got people will categorize all Israelites in one group. But you can't do that because certain Israelites have different doctrines. You got some Israelites that believe in having more than one wife. You have some Israelites that believe in reincarnation. You got Israelites that believe that all white people are the devil. And don't get me wrong, white people do piss me off, but they all are not the devil. You know what I'm saying?
I don't feel that way either, but I feel like majority, not even majority, I can say that because, by the year 2050, National Geographic predicted the average man and woman of mixed race if that year was to come. So I can't say all of them are bad, but I say the ones who do control our exports, our goods, and things of that nature. That's the 8%.
They from the seed that they not what they are. They are from the seed called Edom. Edomites. That the Bible talks about. Them like your Donald Trumps, your Clintons, your Bushes, and the Roman Catholic Church. They are Edomites. They on a whole other level, bro. They like not to be played with, not to be. You can't deal with those type of people, man, at all.
Right. I read it from Dr. Malachi York. He talked a lot about the Edomites, and the Elohim. So I'm definitely.
All right, I don't mean to interrupt both of y'all, but you did have a question for me, didn't you?
For me?
Black.
Yeah, that was my question. Did you believe in the Bible? Because I was going to tell you that the prophecies of what the Most High say, I want you brothers to really just think about this, and I'm gonna let somebody else have it. Let's just go back to slavery, where you got people. We have been programmed to believe that our ancestors come from Africa. I want you to think about this. Why in the fuck would we sell our own people? You know why? Because we're not from Africa. Our ancestors ain't from Africa. Did we get put on the boat in Africa? Yes. You know why? Because we was running from the Romans in Rome. We was running from slavery there and ran to Africa because we could blend in because of our complexion. Why do you think there's not no coincidence that Africans really don't like black folks? And it has nothing to do with, oh man, America is spoiled and black people are lazy. No, it has nothing to do with it. We are from two different tribes.
That's true. I definitely agree with that because if you take the features of a African American male and a African male, they're nothing alike. So that tells you, we couldn't really be descendants from them. Even though I feel like you're right. 400 million people died in this passage. 600 million. How many?
Thank you. That was the real Holocaust. When we got caught on them boats and came over to America, and all of us died, that was the real Holocaust. It wasn't them fake ass Jewish people they had over in Germany.
And with that passage, you gotta really, logically think how many of them could have made it to versus how many were already here. See, it was already black people here. black here, and they enslaved
Yeah,
the Scottish. You know.
Indians, the real deal Indians, bro. They look like you and me. They got complexions like you and me.
Yes, sir.
Jamaicans, they also a part of the special tribe, the Cubans, the Haitians,
Yes, sir.
the Dominican Republicans, the Puerto Ricans, the
Yes, sir.
Cubans, the Colombians. They all are part of the tribes, man, that the Most High talk about, man. And I'm gonna tell you
Oh
something.
yeah.
I need to really think about this. Why you think? And we are the number one tribe. Me and you, we from the tribe of Judah. And I want you to think about this. Out of all the people on the earth, we are the most hated people on the fucking planet. Nobody else. We are number one when it comes to being hated.
Like Paul Mooney said, everybody want to be a nigga till it's time to be a nigga, and I feel like that's real as hell. You know, we got them want to copy the style, but let them get into some real shit. Oh, sir, it wasn't me. You know,
hey, brother, if you get a chance, man. Hey, brother, if you get a chance, man, check out, read some stuff about Hitler. People think Hitler was just this racist hate, but I'm gonna tell you something. Hitler have never killed a black person, not one time. And he told them Jewish people, he said the Negroes are the real children of Israel. They are the real chosen children of God. This came out of Hitler's mouth. See, people thought Hitler was a racist person who hated black folks. Hitler has not killed not one black person a day in his life, and he never hated us. He admitted
his mom was half Jewish. You know, we gotta give that a round of applause. And to get the money funded for the war, he got it from Rothschild. And Rothschild lived in Germany during the Holocaust. He lived in Germany during the Holocaust in 5-star hotel. A Jew.
People,
you know what I mean? So
people get Jew confused. Like
they really do.
When people talk about Christ,
a Jew funded the Holocaust. Then the Jew funded the Americans to come fight the war. And, you know what I mean? So it's really overstanding this whole thing. But I wanted to get back to the Bible, brother.
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead,
that's
guys.
what you was talking about.
I'm a step back for a minute because I know some other people want to talk, and I don't want to be a talk hog. So I'm gonna sit back and let some other people that want to comment.
Yeah, y'all do me a favor, man. Y'all give people a chance to talk, man, because we got a lot of noise going on, and y'all talking over each other, man. Come on, man.
My bad.
Is somebody washing dishes or something? Because I'm not even looking at the pen. I'm looking at the YouTube chat, so I don't even know what's going on.
I think Big Bro is. He over there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's me. I'm sorry. I'm actually done.
Okay.
It's all good. But I just want to give my views on the Bible. You know what I mean? And I feel like it's a good mythical book to go by. It's good stories to go by. It's good stories to feel. But as for believing and giving faith in that book, I couldn't say I never have, because the same book they took Old Testament to New Testament translations. I don't know how I can't count. Testaments I really can't even count. But this was once a book that was told to tell white people to treat their black slaves. You know how to. So I could a book like this, man. It's brainwashing. It's like it's a number one seller, but it's brainwashing.
Hold on. What book?
I'm talking about the Bible.
Oh, okay. You think it's okay? Well,
I feel like it's brainwashing, but I really feel like it's
the damage of that book goes back. The damage of that book predates slavery. Y'all know that, right?
That's what I was told. I heard that before, but I, in my heart, believe that book was out way before slavery, because they actually have lost scrolls in, museums in Rome.
It definitely was. It was actually a form of Christianity in Ethiopia that was given, that was passed down to the Egyptians. But Christianity and the form that they tried to put it to us wasn't how we knew it. It was nothing how we knew it. They stole the whole story of Christ from it. I mean, if you brothers really conscious, you should know the dead.
Hey, you breaking up, brother. Yeah, it's like you're on the water, guy.
Fish splash and he's taking a bath.
I was listening to you guys for a while, and I figured, you know what, I would wait and hear everybody's opinion, their input, and then I would jump in and say a couple of things. Um, I've heard both sides of your arguments from several different sources, and I'm not just talking about like hearsay from actual like academic resources who are doing research with a specific goal. And to the Bible, with regards to anything when it comes to faith, I believe in one thing. You have your own, I don't know what to call it now. I want to say a moral compass, and whatever aligns with your moral compass, you will assimilate. So technically, if the Bible aligns with your moral compass, then you'll have an affinity for that. If it's a different set of rules, you'll go with those. Scientology, Islam, whatever it is. Maybe it's just the basic goodness of people. In that regard, like you said, Black. I don't force anything down anybody's throat. I do, however, believe that within each and every person, there is a good and bad side to the compass, the moral compass. I don't care what your background is, whatever it is. Upon anybody what you wouldn't wish upon yourself. That said, a lot of people tend to not, holistically when they see a situation, do is they're like, well, this is how me and my friends see it now because we have the higher ground, and that's it. I'll give them the fact they're on the higher ground, but what I'll say to them is, if you stick to your guns in this instance, that when the tables turn, you can't expect to be treated the exact same way, and they perceive it as a threat. So if you let that trickle down to what we're talking about, in regards to either racism or anything else, to label it white supremacy, I don't really do that. Here's what I will say, because to be honest with you, I could be disrespected by a person of a different race as quickly as I'm disrespected by somebody of my race. Where I feel disrespect, if I bring it to you and you don't care, you might want to kill me. You might want to disrespect it. It doesn't have to be aligned on any religious or racial bias. It's basically a meeting of opinions. So at some point, you have what do you call it?
Hello?
I'm listening to y'all, brothers. Keep going. I need to hear.
Do you freeze up? Do you
Now
freeze
the
up?
other side of the thing that the other side that Black brought up, and I want you guys all to think about this. It so happens that I'm disappointed. I will say this because coming up as a kid, I used to my folks, his folks, their peers, their seniors, they always looked outward to get as much information from as far back and as far forward in the past and the future as they could get. There's that saying that if you what is that? Those who forget their past are doomed to repeat it, right? So it's like I'm disappointed because it seems like everybody I talk to lives in the here and now. It's like, you can pick any facet of life that you want to talk about. Anybody wants to talk about the economy, they talk about the economy since Barack, since Bush. They don't talk about the economy since Nixon. You know what I'm saying? Look at it that far back and gain perspective. We talk about all these rappers now. We go back to the 90s and say those were the best. How about way back to the 70s and 80s when that kind of music was a thing? Nobody looks to the bigger picture. And one of the statements you made, Black, was something about the different races, and how could one race have ever started any one place or whatever. I don't give a shit where any race started. Here's my thing.
EK. Hey, I'm
Yeah.
gonna remove myself for a minute, y'all. I need to go do something real quick. But y'all have it, Black. I muted you because people's complaining about the kitchen noise and whatnot. So when you're ready to talk, bro, you're more than welcome to unmute yourself if you can, brother.
I think you might have to unmute him and then let him mute himself until he's done.
I got it.
He got it.
Okay, cool.
I'll be right back.
Sorry about that, man. I apologize, everybody.
No,
you good, bro.
So
You good.
now
Huggy,
regardless of what Black was saying.
You still here, Huggy?
Now, who?
Huggy. You still here?
Huggy got off, I think, man.
I
The
feel like
huggy's
his picture
off.
on froze or something.
Now, regards to what Black was
Okay.
saying, you know what I'm saying, and
Y'all
I
go
don't
ahead. Y'all go
care
ahead, man.
where any race really came from. I don't care where any race really came from. Pick anywhere. Okay. One of the things about every living organism, depending on their environment, okay, depending on whether it's stressful or not, they metamorphosize. Okay. So you have the same species of living organism going into one environment and changing to adapt. So at some point, I don't care where the human race might have come from, you can't spread everybody across this planet and expect everybody to remain and look the same. That
Right.
said, once we got on with technology, I don't care what you want to call it, walking, riding, cars, boats, planes, trains, once these distances became as short as they are now, intermixing of these changed species will make what you might think is common to this place different. I'll give you a classic example. Within your lifetime, you know some black people you grew up with, and you know some white people you grew up with who may have had kids together. If they go and marry somebody from across the pond, be it Asian, be it straight African, be it another Caucasian, continually look different from their parents, continually. And when you have generations upon generations upon generations of mixing like that, you cannot tell me that people who have been in any one place for 400, 500, 600 years of mixing genes will look like any of their parents. You understand? So
Okay.
at some
Now let
point,
me.
a lot of the differences that people have physically are not the divide that really divides us. What a lot of us witness and experience comes from that compass each and every one of us has. And I'll give you a classic example. Anybody in here opposed to guns, like doesn't want to have anything at all to do with guns? I want to talk about them. Is there anybody right here in this panel who does not want to be around guns? You, Mac, Black, anybody?
I
I
got
know,
several firearms.
right?
I
So,
can't, I
but
can't
I
tell
know
you.
people. I know people who threatened our friendship if I ever brought a gun around them.
Oh, okay.
That opposed, they're that opposed to it, and that's just one thing. There are certain
And
people
I'm
who are
when you
opposed
get home,
to,
you need that. When you get but
huh?
friendship is cool. When you get home, that should be a thing at home. But friendship,
No,
okay,
no. What I'm getting at
you
is,
gotta bring
so
this around.
what I'm getting at is when people have opinions that they hold so tough like that, when they have it, they're usually unwilling to even see anybody else's point of view.
Right.
I don't care. I just use guns for an example. Let it be anything else. Let it. Okay. Does anybody? I'm not gonna put anybody on blast here, but I might smoke a little weed every now and again. There are certain
Yeah.
things that I won't do. That said, if the man next to me is doing it, I'm not gonna look down on him for that. I might
Right.
Hold
make
on,
sure he
hold on.
understands the repercussion of, huh?
I think you what I said, I think you may have took it the wrong way. What I was saying is that, like, when you start talking about the mix of generations, yeah, that's
Hmm.
true indeed. But the thing is, when you come from certain tribes, it doesn't matter how you look, it's the bloodline that you carry. I don't have the bloodline that the Edomites got. And I've learned that through the prayer and talk and faith that I have in my God that I serve.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
When you say you
So
don't have that, when you say you don't have that bloodline, let's. Okay, so you asked me a question, and technically, all right, we have to go by the earliest documented event. Okay, you asked me if I believe in the Bible. So at some point, the stories in the Bible happened way before the Bible was first written. So it was just word of mouth, and they put it down, and that was the first, what you call it. But in calling somebody an Edomite, they are descendants of whom?
Jacob.
Okay. Now, if you're going to do this and say you do not have the bloodline of the Edomites, right?
Right?
Jacob and his progenitors, they go all the way back to Adam. So at some point, what I'm trying to say, and I understand, no, I didn't take I didn't take what you said the wrong way. What I want you to understand is a lot of the little divisions and separatism that
You hold on, hold on, hold on.
we
You
use
said
to
they go
divide
back
us.
to hold on. You said they go back to Adam, right?
Correct.
Okay, so I have to
I mean, if
stop
you're
you.
going to
Hold
go
on,
by the Bible,
now listen.
no.
I'm gonna have to stop you right there for the simple fact you are right about that. But at the same
Uh-huh.
time, that when the Most High destroyed the earth, He
Uh-huh.
appointed Abraham and his family. I'll say, okay, you're going to give birth to a child named Israel. Israel is
Mm-hmm.
going to have 12 boys. So that's a whole other bloodline outside of Adam. These are people that the Most High said, okay, this is going to be my
Yeah, but it
chosen
wasn't immaculate.
people.
It wasn't immaculate conception though. It wasn't like Jesus. It wasn't immaculate conception. That bloodline still continued regardless of whether or not God, what you call it, sanctioned it. You follow me? Like if I say, okay, you know what, I'm gonna cut all these people off. I'm gonna cut all their benefits off. All of you move to this new compound, and we start over. Killed all of them off, and then started over with Adam 2.0. And I
Right.
understand what you're saying. What I'm saying is the actual division, the separatism that we all have. Every single, and this I only brought that up because you asked me if I believe in the Bible, okay? And I will say now, as far as the Bible is concerned, the only time that there was one bloodline that stood apart from the rest was from Jesus' immaculate conception. There was no progenitor, okay? So at some point, it was the word of God, boom, that's a new bloodline. Everything else was word of law, sanction. And I have no problem with that. But you have to understand that when you call you say somebody the bloodline, watch this. The average white guy, okay? If he grew up in a neighborhood like mine, black people around, Latinos around, Hispanics around, rednecks around, whatever, he's around all these people. He's around all their little nuances and their little habits. None of it is foreign to him. You understand? Like when niggas act up, when Latino dudes get drunk and start fighting, they do that. When rednecks start shooting, they do that. He's around all of it. When the white boys want to get fucked up, he's around all of that. So none of it is foreign to him. However, there are certain neighborhoods where that is just hearsay. It's something they've not really experienced. You drop a redneck in Trinidad, we're going to have a problem. We're really, really going to have a problem out by my way in DC. If he comes out that way, it's like, who you with? Why you here? Especially now, you understand? And he's going to feel the same way. Like all this behavior is foreign to him. Back to your primal instinct, which is fear of the unknown. And that's the only thing that keeps everybody safe. Because I'll tell you right now, you've probably rolled up on a Latin dude, redneck, African, not knowing them for shit. Talk to him, have a drink with him for a while, watch him carry himself in a certain situation. Be like, you know what? That motherfucker's cool as shit. I don't even know him that well, but the way he carried himself here, he cool as shit. You know what I'm saying? But you might have dudes that you've known all your life, grew up with, who ain't shit niggas. You know what I'm saying? And the separatism, you have the same bloodline as this same motherfucker you can't stand, but somebody who comes from way across the pond and might have the same values you do. And at some point, you know what I'm saying, might even have your back where people don't. And that's my point. It's like I grew up in an era where you could really easily weed out motherfuckers who weren't shit, regardless of how they looked, by how they acted. And everybody weeded them out that way. But now it seems that we're separating people by appearance, by the way they speak, by the way they dress, not by their actions. And that's the problem. I mean, the problem is manifesting itself now with these shootings, but it manifests itself in a lot of other ways and places too. Seriously, it's a problem that a lot of times people I work with ask me if I know anybody who might be, looking for a job. They need to fill a spot. People who might be good at that job. The problem is that the rest of their character will not fit into that situation. If you come to me for assistance, I'm not going to give you a fucking basket case. So it's kind of like if you ask me for a car, hey man, I need a little beater, get me back and forth to work. It ain't flashy, whatever. It'll run, no real problems. It's not like I want to give you a motherfucker transmission gonna go out day after tomorrow, then it's gonna overheat, always needing bearings and bushings and shit. You know what I'm saying? If I know I have a car like that and you not really trying to waste money on repairs, why would I set you up like that?
Right.
It's the
Brother,
character of the individual. It's the character
brother,
of the individual. Huh?
where are you at right now, man? Why is it dark?
I'm in Maryland. It is dark. It's almost 8:15 where I'm at.
Oh wow,
I'm on the
it's
East
bright,
Coast.
sunny outside. Okay, okay.
I can see that. I know.
I'm in
Where are
Kansas City,
you?
Missouri, man.
Oh, okay. See, yeah, you like what? 3 hours, 4 hours behind?
Oh, yeah, yeah. It's
It's quarter
right
to
now.
eight.
It's 7 o'clock right now.
Oh, okay, 1 hour difference. It might be getting dark pretty well. It's dark now. It's 8 o'clock. So
But yet,
what bothers me is I'm around. I have a lot of different friends. Some of them redneck, some of them preppy white, some of them grew up in neighborhoods just like mine. So and then I've got and that's the of the Caucasians. And then you've got, like you were saying, then you got the Africans. You got some Africans who are like deep African. You got some Africans who've been here forever. You got some Africans who grew up in other countries. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I want you to understand, if an African grew up in Europe or grew up in Asia, and you think he's African, like you in for a rude awakening. You know what I'm saying? And it's the same with anything else. You see a lot of your Hispanics. They're quick to tell you, just because you see me looking speaking Spanish, he's from Ecuador. I'm from Salvador. There's the El Salvador. They will tell you it's different. But in my mind, we all eat, we all breathe, we all shit. At some point, we all cry, bleed. And the fucked up thing about it, everybody bleeds the same fucking red. So you telling me that somebody, because of where they came from or their bloodline, explains how they behave, how they look? No, 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 no. You have every control over that. Your exposure, you might not have 100% on your where you were born and what you're exposed to, but what you expose yourself to, what you align yourself with. So a lot of times when I see some of these politicized, okay, not politicized, but publicized events, okay, first thing I think is, what was that guy's mindset this morning when he left home? He hates his job. Does he hate where he works? Because I will tell you right now, anybody follow this one cat on Facebook, Officer Norman?
I'm not on Facebook.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Well,
I know what you're talking about.
you can Google him. You can Google him. This is white dude. Where is he? Is it Arizona somewhere, whatever? He might just be using him as a puppet. He's a white dude, but he's like in this black neighborhood. And what he does, what he's doing, he is in these people's houses talking to their kids now. They see him all the time. He be bumping, I mean, like, trap music and stuff in the neighborhood, taking them to their little doctor's meetings, whatever they got to go to in his free time. You know what I'm saying? If he's a police officer in that neighborhood while these kids are 9, 10, 12, 15, from now he's still on that beat or brought some other cops up with him and they keep doing this, they won't have an issue with rolling up on Ray Ray, dealing drugs, and say, Ray, you need to come with me. He's not pulling a gun on Officer Norman. He's not running from Officer Norman. I know where you live. I know your mom. I know your cousins. I know your brothers. You run from me, I'll tell them to bring you in. You understand? So guys like that work in a situation where they are making their bed. But there's some guys who didn't. They find themselves in certain places and their jobs are peachy. If you out here, you a police officer in Potomac, you ain't got
Hey,
shit to worry about.
has anybody else got a chance to talk? Because I'm walking back and forth and I'm only hearing your voice.
My bad. No, I was just trying to.
We just trying to let him. He was trying to make a point, and so we kind of
Right.
just
It was
sit
something
back
that I
and let him do his
heard, and I
thing.
didn't want Black to think I
Okay.
misunderstood him.
Hold on before you continue. Hey, Anna, how you doing, boo?
Who's that?
Anna's
Anna.
on here.
Sorry, I was muted. Hi.
Anna, what's going on, beautiful? How you doing?
Hello.
So welcome over. Thanks for joining.
No problem.
Hey,
I thought you were.
Anna
Yeah.
didn't want to speak to me. Golly, my feelings
No,
is
I don't. I didn't see your name. I'm sorry.
My feelings
I
is
don't.
truly hurt.
Well, I don't think I've met you before. I talked with Chris before, so.
I thought
Okay.
me and you met, but maybe not. I thought so, but that symbol that you got looks familiar. So, I usually see it when I'm
Oh
on
wait,
here.
you're black. You're actual black spelled out black. Yeah, I've
Yeah,
seen.
black voice. Yeah.
Hello.
Okay, go ahead. They say you were speaking logic, so go ahead, bro. Continue.
Yeah, no, it was
Hey,
just
Black,
something that Black and Max were talking about, and I was just trying to put my 2 cents in. I didn't want them to think I misunderstood what they were saying. It's just my opinion is I don't really give people origin card. You know what I'm saying? Like they say you got a black card or whatever card. I don't give people an origin card for misbehavior. I really don't. For instance, a lot of people here will say, well, these are our customs in the United States. You should, adhere to them. You come here, learn to speak English. You come here, or and respect our customs. Believe that. I do. If you come here, speak English. I didn't say drop your customs and lose them. Just respect where you at. However, I have a problem with these same people, and most of the people who really, really say this never left the fucking country. And the few who do leave the country, guess what they say when they go anywhere else? I don't got to do that. I'm American. You know how many women will leave here and go to the Middle East and refuse to put on the burqa?
Americans are entitled.
That's my point. They will go there and they're American. They will not respect the cultures of the places they go, but they're quick to raise that flag and say, oh, speak the language, do what we do. And that's fine. I believe it. But I believe that you should quid pro quo, reciprocate. So that's all I wanted to say. I know I was long-winded, but when you said certain things about a bloodline or a generational line or a place of origin, there is not one person. There's not one person who does not have the fear of the unknown. The problem is that we're exposed to that shit every day. And if you just go back to your basal instincts, how far has anyone come from the Stone Ages? You know what I'm saying? You will call yourself modern man and civilized. That's basal and barbaric in my book, So that's the only thing I say about that. So a lot of times when I see the stuff that we see in the news, I'm not surprised. These are people who grew up in a bubble, in a little envelope. Leave your neighborhood, leave your neck of the woods, travel across the country, move somewhere else, watch something different happen, and your perspective on how you should relate to the next man will change. It will. But I'll leave the floor now because I feel like I'm preaching here. I don't really like that.
Don't worry. At least you're saying stuff that makes sense. It's not like you're just saying a bunch of BS. Think otherwise, someone would have called you out on it.
This stuff is pissing a lot of people off on both sides of the fence. Okay, now I got white people who are just as mad that these cops are doing this, only because it's like, wait, if you have all of these questionable shootings, and you're afraid for your life when you go, at some point, think of a career change. It's kind of like a soldier who says they don't want to go to war because they have a scruple about killing people. Kind of your job description, or like a doctor, a surgeon who's afraid of blood. Your job description. I think you need to figure something else out. And that's the problem. They resort to fear. They got the gun. They got the badge, and fear seems to be the narrative. I was afraid, therefore I just eliminated the threat. Okay, neutralize the. That's what they like to say. Neutralize the threat.
Because we enemies of the state.
And that's my point. But the funny thing about it is that mindset, that perception, if you think about it, these people are around people a lot worse than their perceived fear every day, and they learn to deal with that. Anybody been around a 2-year-old? Be around a 2-year-old in 24 hours. Let that 2-year-old see fear in your eyes. Right now, I don't know what he thought fear was out in the street with a big 200-pound man with a gun. A 2-year-old, you can't do shit to. They can do a lot of shit to you, But people get over it. People get over stuff like that. They learn how to deal with it. I just don't. The shooting in the mall. Some terrorists go out there stabbing people. The guy who ended up shooting him apparently was a civilian. He's they call it a 3-gun sharpshooting, whatever contested. Okay, this guy, to assess the threat, and then realize it actually is a threat, and then neutralize it. Okay, he's not a police officer. Training that surpasses his. No, I just walk into the place, 5 black dudes, 1 bigger than me. I'm afraid of my life. Bow, and that's it. And that's my whole thing. These guys are afraid of these people because they come from different worlds. And, at some point, as long as that happens, it doesn't even have to happen here. I mean, it happens here a lot. It's in the news. It happens in Europe all the time. They're over there now dealing with their own pile of shit. It happens in Africa all the time. All these wars of genocide that we see, these are people who even look alike. They look alike. Just happen to hate each other, okay? Like you were talking about, different bloodline from whatsoever. And boom, okay? And if you think that these cops or racism is evil, that's because you look different. What is it called when you hate somebody 10 times worse than that and you look the same? Live there and understand how those people think. you can see why some people will justify stupidity by saying, I was afraid for my life, or yeah, you can see it. You don't have to agree with it, but you can look at it like a kid who's trying to tell you a lie to your face. I know why you really did it. You don't got to lie, but all right. If I didn't know that you were out there, I would have been surprised. Anyway, all right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna listen to you guys while I wrap up here because like I said, it's 8 o'clock. I want to go home, so I'll listen, but I'll just mute myself and let you guys have the floor.
All right, brother.
Wow.
What it? Well, yeah.
Man, but back to what the topic on hand about with the whole police thing and so what?
I said that nigga got me tired.
Man, listen, golly, I was trying to come back in and try to make some points, man, and let them know where I was coming from, what I was talking about. You know what I mean? Like, but I'm not about to go back to that topic. I think but yeah, man. Like I told you, brothers, man. I just get y'all ammunition up, man. I believe in standing up for yourself and for your family, man. And this is ridiculous as far as what's going on out here, and man, and I hear people say, this is the great line that people say, well, if they would do this, or if black folks would do that, maybe this wouldn't happen. But this ain't happening just in one spot of America. This shit's happening all over. You know what I'm saying? Like, people not just dying in one part of America, man. This shit's happening, popping up in places I never knew existed.
Right. That's what I'm saying. That's what I say. It seemed like a reality show. It's popping in place in cities you've not heard of. I mean, here, what? It was a guy from Sudan. He got shot. They tried to say he stole from a gun store and was walking with the gun in his back pocket. And when they pulled up on him, they shot him. The dash cam, but the dash cam was supposed to be reviewed and aired to the public and never shown. So I guess it's unsolved, man. It's happening everywhere. People need to watch out. And I don't really know what the fuck gonna happen. Like, just to be honest, I don't know what's to come of all of this. It's not like we can go back on these murders. We can't bring Sandra Bland back. We can't bring Phil Colashua, something like that. We can't bring Phil back. You know what I'm saying? We can't bring Trayvon Martin back. We can't bring these people back. So it's like, what do we do? You know what I mean? We got groups like Black Lives Matter, and if you see my page, if you see my YouTube page, I got a speech on the Black Lives Matter, and I just don't feel like they there when it's most needed. They cover big murders, shit that everybody's seen, but like, it's a lot of unsolved murders that I feel like need to be covered, man. And we don't got nobody speaking for us. Especially no young people that's gonna talk about this. Everybody divided up. There's no unity.
Say something real fast.
Yeah.
Going off of what you saying, I kind of feel like they're gonna wrap this shit up in a couple of weeks. Everything gonna go back to normal. Maybe a month and a half later, the nigga gonna get shot. That's how I look at it. It's been going on like this for like the last couple of years. And you're right. There's nothing we can do about it.
Right. What's to come of it? That's what I'm saying. And it's safe to say we want to get guns and shit. And I feel like that's a good thing to do. Or if you know somebody who got one, be close to him. Because it will be a day when it's gonna go down, but it's like we ain't got what they got. So you gonna like dude has said, it's like David and Goliath. We might can knock this nigga out with one rock, but what's the chances of that? When it's 1,000 Goliaths. We got trained security that'll fucking kill 3 people before you even touch them. Like, these people will be deployed in every state. These people will control the state. You know, I don't want it to get to that point. I got kids. Well, I have a kid, you know, and I don't know how it's gonna be looking through her generation. Maybe the shit might not happen in my lifetime, but something crazy gonna happen, man. And I feel like it's more when when the human mind get to the point of destruction, that's when we get faith in things and religions and things like that's going to intervene. I feel like it might be something that's going to put a halt to everything, because certain shit just can't be condoned, you know, just by humanity. It just cannot be condoned. Like, I don't feel like once it gets to that point of martial law or the army running the fucking streets crazy, once it gets to that point, I don't feel like it's gonna be successful. It's gonna be divine intervention, man. Like, it's really gonna be a presence that's seen, physical, gonna stop shit. You're gonna do it, you know what I mean? But I think of incidents as slavery and things of that nature, and you know, potentially where was God? Like, but some shit like this, man, you gotta take heed, man. It's something very important about to happen to America. I think they got the laws in here now. So on that note, brothers, I'm gonna go ahead and escape.
Now I heard you. I just had a question. I was gonna wait until you finish. One, I'm glad you understood my point. And the funny thing about it is, I can't say that because you're afraid of losing a battle, you shouldn't go to war. No, I'm just thinking, okay, if you are the generals and there's 5 of you and 50 of them, do the 5 of you go fight 50 of them, lose, and then leave the whole tribe unattended? So that was my argument. I'm glad you saw that. Now something will happen. Something will happen. My problem here is I could probably, if I could find it, because I posted it, I linked it to my own Facebook so I could find it later, but it'll probably take me a while. There was a little video somebody made, and it was to show exactly how the unseen hand of power, how they quell rebellion. Okay, and it's funny because now when you see a lot of stories, okay, and they all seem similar, there is a common thread, and the common thread is the truth. It's not the individual stories, it's the common thread. So like if you look at all the stories of creation in every different religion, there's a common thread. That's the truth. If you can figure it out, that would be that. The common thread here was that it was a dinner meeting, the dinner. A lot of influential white people, somebody who was doing really well. And somebody would say, hey, you know what? I mean, he's come up. We should make him VP, but I don't think I want a black person in that position. And some guy sat at the table and he said, no, that's exactly what you do. You make him vice president, and then you open a different branch, and then you make him president of that branch. You give him free reign to bring his own people up. And when somebody of conscience who's awoke like that has money force-fed to him, he no longer feels the need to take the forefront of the battle. Racism or white supremacy, you know, you calm him down. And they realize they have to do that every now and again. Now, the ones who they can't do that to, then, you know, they'll break out the battle axes and they'll go to war. People, so that, you know, the others might not have so much heart. And that's what we were talking about here. My question is, in our day and age, if it happens again, it happened right before us. Do you not think that Martin Luther King and Malcolm X and all these people, they were the ones at that point in time, you know, and Selma and everywhere else, they were the ones at that point in time who thought that it was a critical turning point. Okay? And they did that, and it got to a head. And just like in Braveheart, right when they could have like completely overcome and gone over, and it's like, I can see us doing that again. I can see us doing that again. And that's why I said that is the playing field of that unseen hand, that unseen hand of power. They know exactly how to dial it in. You make some middle class people here feel that they are listening to a lot of rabble complain about their lot. Like when some people say, oh, black people had it better during slavery. Some people actually believe that. So if you get more of those people saying, hey, you know what? If these people, these underlings, if they achieve too much, they're going to take some of your slice of the pie. They're going to resent that. Meanwhile, the slice of the pie for the rich and powerful keeps getting bigger. And as long as we play on the field that they give us to, we can't win that battle. It's like playing in the Matrix. You can't win from inside the Matrix. But that's the problem. That's where we're at. So until we figure that out, like somebody was on Facebook the other day talking about, I don't know if it's true or not, said something about he don't even want blacks wearing his boots. And I thought about that. How much money do we actually spend with Nike, with Timberland, with Polo, with all these other, we vote with our wallet and we don't even think about it. That's what happens. Force somebody else to step their game up and continue shoving money their way. See what happens. Make somebody else do that. But at some point, like I said, I totally agree with you. I mean, at some point, if push comes to shove, glory. Do I want that to be my first course of action? Probably not. But, the discussion here is like, okay, exactly how is this going wrong? Why and I guess it might be where I live. To be honest with you, I might just be one of those guys who lives in the right neighborhood to where I don't fear cops where I'm from. I don't. And I've been on the wrong side of them, many times. Pull up. Hey, what's going on? I pulled you over? Hell no. Can you get your license and wallet from me? No. Over there, license in my back pocket. I'm going to keep my hands right here. Anything, and he's like, you relax, calm down. Because in his mind, a lot of cops, and that's the thing, you got to remember, a lot of cops too, they grew up like you on the block. They come, they wear this uniform. Now you label them like the chick who shot somebody. And he knows that's exactly how you feel. And he doesn't like that. So, at some point he's feeling bad that you feel that way, but he understands why you feel that way. He can't do nothing about it, and we both go our separate ways. Get pulled over, and I'm thinking to myself, why are you so hot? He didn't shoot anybody yet. Now you just escalating the situation, and when he does shoot you, then he gonna be in the wrong, So I don't know. I guess it comes down to, like I was saying before, when we can get into a common mindset, these issues might not be so prevalent. I don't know. I get tired of it. Yelled enough, somebody would listen. I realize now you got to just walk quietly, carry a big stick, but you can't fight this war on their playing field. I just don't know how yet, but it's something I think we should do. You know what I'm saying? The discourse is where it starts. You know what I'm saying? Now we talking here. I know a lot of people who are having discussions like ours on the other side of the fence. These fucking niggas, they think they run this shit. Yeah, glad another one got shot. Yeah, motherfuckers are belligerent. They don't need to know their place. They need to be put in their place. They should all leave, go back to Africa. And there's some people who are having those conversations. And to be honest with you, those conversations don't offend me. Because that's what they believe. That's what you believe? Great. You'll see how I act on mine. But as long as you're just talking, that's fine. What I'm saying is we're talking. I know some people who are talking who are ready to act. A lot of times we talk and we don't do anything. And I'm getting tired of being on that side. If it comes down to it, Max, watch. You talk about getting ammo. I got guns. I got ammo. Three of us meet up together, talk about it's on. We defending this to blazing glory. Guarantee you we get 3-4 dudes together like that. One dude won't show up. It happens. It happens. A lot of people will talk. When it comes down to it, they're not there. They don't come to the party.
Well,
it happens at the cookout.
A lot of people like to talk about how, well, I can't do anything or what I do is not going to affect anything. But like you were saying, like our wallets are our action. If we're over there spending money on brand names and all this, we're essentially giving those people power. The more monopolized the world becomes, the more power you're giving to a select individuals. Where if we want to support we want to support people who are like us, we would give our money to people like us. It's like if you know a dude who's making shirts and he actually makes good shirts, you're not going to go to a store and buy your shirts. You're going to have the dude make your shirts for you. And it's like we don't think about how our wallet and how we spend our money actually influences the world around us.
I totally agree with you. I mean, that's exactly it. And that's what you said is kind of key. What you said is kind of key. Most people think that their input is. There's a saying, the last straw that broke the camel's back. Oh man, my little input won't mean nothing. That was the straw that was going to break the camel's back. The one you think was so insignificant. You know what I'm saying? And it, it becomes so prevalent that people just think that their voice or their actions don't matter. You know, but if those little drops, they do over time. They'll bring down levees. They'll bring down dams. They'll move mountains. Believe me, it happens. I just, after a while you get weary because I'm around. I'll tell you right now, single-minded, either bigots or whatchamacallit. And I understand their line of reasoning. Still have meetings every Thursday at 8 p.m. and they will leave work. They will leave their families. They will meet. They will meet. They'll buy their little Triscuits and little Mountain Dew, and they'll meet up, 10, 15 of them, meet up for an hour and discuss when the next meeting is going to be and what they're going to talk about. And they will act. They get themselves together. They'll meet on Saturday. They'll rally people up. Their little input will make waves. And that's one of the reasons why when Chris is starting these things and people like him, I get on their posts. I try to get my little opinions in there. But there are moves I want to make now. I'll give you an example. We're talking about how the laws need to change. There's a phone number that's being publicized on TV. I've seen it. It's a phone number where you can call Congress as a specific office where the push is to get petition that money earmarked for federal should include what do you call it now, de-escalation training or whatever it is. And if they can't incorporate that in their training, they shouldn't get federal funds. I don't know how many people use that number. I saw it. It was like 9:30. The office was closed. So I set my phone, 10 o'clock the next day, called, got a voicemail message, left my 2 cents. I don't know how many people do it, but if their voicemail system breaks because random people keep calling, who was this? Some guys, Kenny Downey. I guess he's in the Army as an operator or something like that. He had some comment on Facebook, and he went viral. They blew his shit up. People found his phone number, his CEO's phone number, and I know his CEO was pissed. They took screenshots of his comments on Facebook. I know it's a little bit of effort. What I want to do, I don't even know what the laws are as far as like, what do you call it? Stop and search and seize and all that in my county. I don't know. I don't know what it is in my city. So guess what I'm getting ready to do next week? I'm gonna go down to my police station and find out who their PR rep is and find out, okay, what is the if I get pulled over in Bowie from getting shot, what are the rules what's the law on the books? Okay. Everybody knows now if they pull your license or your registration, you in the system. They can tell. They can tell if it's in another state. They can tell if your tags are dead. But they still got archaic.
Okay. Hey, hold on for a minute, brother.
All right.
Like I said, I'm out. I'm doing other things right now, so I'm kind of in and out. I saw in the chat room, DK was saying something about he didn't get a word in. That's why I stopped it the first time. But the first time, people say they were listening to you. So let's did he even try to talk? Has any of y'all tried to talk? Because I didn't even know Black was on. What's up, homie?
Oh, we've been talking.
I just been listening to the brother.
Okay, so y'all don't have a problem talking?
Nope. I just wait for a pause.
Yeah, I didn't try to get in either, so.
Black, how you doing, brother? Okay, you must not be there.
Oh, Black's at work.
Sorry. No,
he's listening.
No, I realized I'd done it again.
Well, DK was saying something about he didn't get a chance to say anything, so
come back, DK. Come back.
Let him come back on and say what he got to say. So, DK, come on back on, brother.
I got to get back to class in just a second, but I wanted to put in a couple things right quick.
Go ahead, brother.
I've been sending Chris and Paul and them all the news that I could pick up before the actual CNN and all them been getting it. So I've been trying to keep them up to date. I live 20 minutes south of Charlotte, so But what I want to say is the problem, like my man was saying, is people will go out and protest, but as soon as the cops and the state and whatever try to wash the shit away, it's over. Nobody wants to keep doing it. And we as a people got to keep on this. We can't just protest for a week or 3 days or whatever we're going to protest for and then quit. You got to stay on this shit. You don't get anything accomplished if you just back down as soon as they done with it. And it's just getting old. The shit pissing me the fuck off. Bad. I mean, I don't want to feel that I should have to, worry about my neighborhood. I mean, we getting ready to put signs up at the end of our street that we don't want police on our street. We can do our own policing.
Okay.
I mean, it's just stupid. But we need to stick everybody as white, black. I mean, you see the crowd in Charlotte; it's mixed crowd. There's everybody out there, but we need to keep on the shit. You can't just do it for 2 or 3 days, a week, or whatever, and then just end it. That's not how you solve the problem.
Right. Chastity said probably some don't know why they even protest. And what you say about that?
You're right. Some people out there just because there's a crowd out there. Oh, let me go hang out. I mean, hell, I seen people on TV and shit walking down the street drinking. Don't go out there drinking for what? That ain't gonna get your point across. Then you're just a drunk out on the street. I mean, somebody has to be out there. I mean, you got your ministers and your pastors and your bishops and all them out there, and they doing their thing. But they can only reach so many people. We need elders like us to go out there and reach these other people that ain't being reached by those.
Well, can you guys hear me, by the way? Because I'm trying a new setup here, and I don't know if I'm actually coming through correctly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we can hear you. You're good.
Okay. Yeah, the only thing I want to input on what he said is, I've said this to a bunch of people, and I've said it a million times, and I'll say it again. It's funny how the people who are against the police more often than not are the ones who are dealing with them constantly. It seems like if we think the police are just evil and bad as a whole, we just wouldn't deal with them. It's easy enough. What I do personally, if I don't want to get pulled over, I set my cruise control right on the speed limit. I just stay right there.
What you said.
I just stay right there. I don't have a risk of getting pulled over.
Right.
Unless they find something stupid, and then that's whatever. But we don't do the things necessary to not deal with them. I remember in the Army, we if anybody's been in the military, we have a thing called PMCS. Preventative maintenance, something, checks and services. It's easy enough when you go to your car at night to turn your car on, turn the lights on, walk around your car, make sure those lights are all on your car. You don't get pulled over for a burnt out headlight or burnt out light on your license plate. That's easy to do. But most people don't want to do that. So we can sit here and complain about how evil the police are. That's fine. But we have to do things to prevent interacting with them if we think that.
And a lot of other people they're not actually following the laws. Well, I was only going 5 miles over the speed limit. Can't you just give me a warning? And
most police officers won't enforce this, but technically if you're going 1 or 2 miles per hour over the speed limit, you're breaking the law. If you go by what it says. So, speeding is speeding. Most of the time, and I said this before, whoever heard this or saw it in that case, but 98% of the time, I can't feel bad for somebody who has a good or bad interaction with the police. Well, you wouldn't need to feel bad for a good one, right? I don't feel bad for people who have an interaction with the police, whatever it is, because 98% of the time, you've done something to put yourself in that position. You know how the police are acting now. We know this. We've seen it. It's happening all over the country. Why wouldn't you just not do it? And I say 98% because there are times that police do some really dumb shit. So I won't say 100% on that one. So.
Yeah, I've had nothing but, well, when I was younger, I had a bad interaction with cops. But now that I'm older, I got pulled over and I didn't fear for my life. I gave them my license and registration, and that was it.
The only time I have any nervousness around police, and this is just me being dead honest, I don't think anybody's any different. Tell me when you get pulled over, you don't think, even though you know you might be good as gold, you still think in the back of your mind, is there a speeding ticket I didn't pay like 2 years ago? Is something going to come up? Are they going to tell me something's wrong here? Tell me nobody's thought
Yeah,
this,
no,
or am I
I
the only
have
one?
thought about that. It's like there's somehow a ticket that was like mailed to me that I didn't get, so I haven't paid it. Yeah.
It's just one of those things. But that's all I really have to say on the police issue. I think we just need to stop interacting with them at this point.
Hey, quick question. What happened to Max?
He
he
dropped
dropped
off.
off.
Okay.
I don't know why.
All right. Go ahead.
No, it always reminds me of like how if you go to the principal, if you're called to the principal's office, you start thinking the worst of the worst. But if you do your best to be good, you have less to worry about. And if people really don't want to interact with the police, start policing your own neighborhood. Start making sure that the troublemakers aren't making trouble in your neighborhood. And a lot of people don't want to do that because they're afraid of the troublemakers. It's like, well, you want the police to protect you, but then you're complaining when the police do something that harms someone. It's like, keep the people who are causing the police to do such damage out of your neighborhood. There's more of you than there are of the troublemakers.
Well, this is the thing, and I've noticed this, and I don't. If anybody disagrees, feel free to jump in on it. But I think people are naturally negative. We go towards the negative thing. We don't look at things. It's that whole glass half full, half empty deal. You know, you look at what do people a lot of times do? They look at what they don't have as opposed to what they do have. You know, you look at you're like, well, damn, I got a 1-bedroom apartment, but there's this guy over here who has a 4,000 square foot house.
The grass is always green. The grass is always greener on the other side.
Yeah, they're looking at the fact that, you know, you have a roof over your head. You're not looking at the fact that you are not starving. You're not looking at any of these factors that happen. And, you know, I think, and I'm not perfect at this, and I certainly have had my discretions at this, but I think you need to look more at what you have than what you don't have. You know, I could be broke as a joke, which I kind of am right now because it's the end of the month. But anyway, I've generally got everything I need.
I think people are becoming too materialistic and they don't focus on handling what you need to have done, and then you can do what you want to get done. It's like needs versus wants. Too many people have wants as needs and needs as wants. It's like you need to do what you need to do so that you can do what you want to do.
Has anyone ever seen that? Has anyone ever seen the hierarchy of needs? It's something like your basic needs are hierarchy of needs.
Okay.
It's like you have your basic ones, your food, clothing, shelter, whatever, and then it goes up from there into more, I can't think of a word, but higher needs, you know.
Or wants.
Yeah. So it starts going there. If you're skipping over and not looking at the fact that you know, I forgot where I was going with this, but anyway, you have that lower level of needs, right? Most people have those met, at least minimally. But the most satisfaction I've ever gotten out of life, and I can say this with 100% honest, the most satisfaction I've gotten out of life is not what I have in my bank account. It's not where I live. It's not how expensive my phone is. It's when I've done something for other people. That's
I
when I
don't know.
felt the best in my whole life.
So I don't know how many people have actually like done the pay it forward thing. Like if they go to a drive-through and like if you can, I'm not saying you always have to do it, but there was one time cashier, she was so upset because she had messed up my order and charged me for the person behind me. I was like, you know what? It's okay. I mean, it wasn't a big difference. It was probably about $8 more. And I was like, I can afford it. Now, here's my order. Charge me for that, and don't worry about a refund for the person behind me. And she was like, are you sure? And what'd she do? She ended up giving me a discount on my order. I'm like, I don't mind. I'm not gonna start giving an attitude to the cashier because she made a mistake. It's only human nature that you make mistakes. But so many people are focused on everything has to be perfect 100% of the time. And that's why there's so much depression and stress. And that's why a lot of people aren't happy with life because everyone expects perfectness.
Well, think about this. What I know that when I was in grade school, my parents would have kicked my ass if I came home with an incredibly low grade. Is that not some form of beating, not beating, but hypothetically, perfection into our kids?
I think there's a limit. If your parents say you can only get A's, that's breeding for perfection. But if
I
you
know
can,
people who do that.
yeah, but I mean that causes so much stress. But if you have like a B limit, and like my mom knew that I wasn't really good at history, so if I had a C in history, she wouldn't mind.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You can't sit here. Everything has roots in a lot of things, a lot of how you behave, a lot of how you think comes from how you grew up. It's, you're born basically a blank slate. You only have innate instincts that are inbred into people. You build from there. So think about the first 18 years of your life, unless you weren't with your parents for some reason for that long. Your parents are kind of, or at least, no, I won't even say that. So maybe for the first 12 or 13 years, your parents are sort of your moral compass, right? A lot of us have had to rethink what our parents taught us because we just realized that's kind of dumb and that doesn't really make sense. So, I must have cut out.
No, you didn't cut
No,
out.
we heard you. We
Yeah,
heard you.
you're good.
Okay. No, that's all I really was saying is we're born with innate instincts.
Hey, Dave, I had a question though. You brought something up earlier about interactions with police. Let me step out of here because I know it's a little loud. You said about interactions with police. Now, I'm a little bit different. I guess I'm a little.
Did he cut out or did I?
Nope, Sparta, you cut out. I'm calling you Sparta because I can't pronounce your name.
I'm sorry, who, me?
Yeah,
you cut out for a second there, man.
Oh, I'm sorry, EK. Just call me EK.
Okay, sounds good.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I kind of figured that would happen once I got around the doorway there. But interactions with police. I used to do. What I'm about to say a little, more than I do it now. Back in the day, only because, like every one of us, and it's funny, different police here in Maryland. I guess it's part of their training to understand that if you are approaching a civilian, they are afraid of whatever the consequences will be. So they're nervous. And I've had several incidences where early I get pulled over or have an interaction with a cop, and I'd be nervous, and they talk it down. It's like, listen, it's not a big deal. It's a 2 points.
EK, you broke up again. But yeah, I think it really does depend on how, like, police can de-escalate a situation, but it's also it's a two-way street.
They can escalate it also.
Yeah, no, it's a two-way street. No, yeah. Okay. Okay, you're back.
I've gotten
Okay.
There you go.
I've gotten
The last thing
Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
The last thing we heard, or at least I heard, was 2 points.
Okay, yeah. So let's say a cop pulls you over. You know, you're in the car. You see the lights come on. They're trained, no matter what happens, that people are going to be nervous. And I've been pulled over a few times, and the cop will come over and say, "Hey, you didn't realize you ran that stop sign right there, and that's a 2 point blah blah blah. So just go to court and you sign right here. No big deal." He's talking you down from your nervousness. And I realized they were doing this, and you look at the cop and you're like, wait, the person talking to you isn't a uniform, a walking uniform. It's a person back there. So what I started to do, I would do random stuff. Anybody ever see two cops, like when they're, either on their break time, you see two cop cars, they're parked next to each other, they're talking through the window. I pull up in between them. How you doing, guys? Good evening. Good evening. Shake their hands. How y'all doing this evening? Cool. No, nothing. I just wanted to say hi. And I drive off. Now, can you imagine those two dudes sitting there thinking, what the hell just happened? Like radar traps, you come around the corner and they got you. Fortunately for me, I wasn't speeding. So I see the guy. I think I had my daughters in the car. It was either Christmas Eve or New Year's Eve. It was something stupid. There's a cop out there on patrol. We passed him. We're okay. I turned around. My daughter's like, Dad, what are you doing? I'm like, what do you mean, what am I doing? It's Christmas Eve. This guy's out here working. You understand? That's his job. Whatever he's doing out there, anybody calls, he's responding. He's out there. People won't want to get that ticket, but that's his job. He's doing it on Christmas Eve. So we pulled up next to him. I rolled the window down, turned the lights on in the car, because now, guess what? I'm rolling up on him. He might be nervous. Black car, windows tinted. Turn the lights on in the car. It's two young girls and me. I look over there, I say, hey, roll the window down. He rolled the window down. Can I help you? I said, no. I want to wish you a Merry Christmas in advance, and I want to thank you for being out here. And the girls in the back are like, yeah, Merry Christmas. And you could tell that was not what he expected.
But it brought a smile to his face.
That probably made
it was that stupid. It was that stupid. You know that stupid smile, kind of like a prank, like candid camera. You could tell he wanted to smile, but he wasn't
like, sure about it.
he was in shock that he must have felt something different that he hoped wasn't on his face. And then when he realized that that's what we were doing, I'm like, well, be safe. And we turned and went away. I can't imagine what he felt like when we drove off.
Dude,
you know what I'm saying? I used to do it a lot.
It probably made his night.
Right.
If I'm honest.
And I used to do that a lot. But nowadays, I don't do it so much because I'm walking up to cops who are just like him, but who know that a lot of people don't see them aside from the uniform. So when I walk up to a cop now, you can tell when you start talking to him, he's a little bit unsure about why you're doing it. You know what I'm saying? He's for a little while. And unless the conversation starts to go somewhere, I'll just like, well, thank you for what you do, and I'll keep it moving. I'll tell you right now, I'll be the first one. If I get pulled over by a cop, I'm going to tell you right now, this is how I feel. I don't worry about no warrants or no tickets and nothing like that. Maybe I should, but I'm just not that way. You know what I think when I see the lights come on behind me? It's about goddamn time. How many times that I'm serious. As much stuff as I've gotten away with, like I'll tell you a true story. I've been pulled over 100 miles an hour multiple times. And each time, I'm like, hey, do you know how fast you were going? Not exactly, because, when you're driving that, shut up. Okay, cool. It's like, you know what you're going to say? I don't disagree with anything you said. And you know what? Now that you said, and we'll have this conversation. And next thing you know, because I'm calm and he's mad and he calms down, then he'll be like, look, let me have your license, registration, all this stuff, right? He'll come back. You don't have any points. What is wrong here? I'm like, well, I'm sorry, wrong time of day. I thought I was by myself, I was letting it breathe. Then he asked me this one question. He's like, what do you have in this thing? I'm like, a little tips and tricks here. He said, do me a favor. Keep it on the track. He hands my stuff back and he pulls off. You understand how many tickets that was? That was so many tickets, I didn't want to think about it. So if I get pulled over, I'm like, it's about goddamn time I get a ticket. And guess what happens? Well, I'm going to let you off with a warning. It's been so many times. I'm not worried about that in the slightest. I'm not worried about police interaction. And it just comes from my mindset. I am not afraid of them where I live. Now.
This is the funny thing on what you were saying. This is the funny thing. Everybody knows I'm a big conceal and carry person. I do it a lot. Not all the time, because I go to school and my school doesn't allow guns on campus, and I respect my school enough not to do that. But anywhere else I'm going, yeah, I'm generally doing that. This is the funny thing. Arizona.
Okay.
When And in Arizona, if you're familiar with the law here, whether you have a permit or not, because it is a constitutional carry state, you have to declare it to the police officer that you have the gun. So what I'll do is I'll have both my hands on top of the steering wheel, nowhere close to where my gun is. And I will tell them when they ask me that first question, I'll be like, before I go any further, I'm going to let you know I have a concealed weapon, and it is in this spot. Most of the time, once that's done, they get a little bit edgy. You can tell they're like, okay, hold on a second. But as long as you cooperate and you assure them that your hands aren't going anywhere near that, you don't have a problem with them. That's the thing. Like, I've heard from, because I have friends that are police, they've told me they respect people more who take their own defense into their hands. As long as you're legal about it, obviously. But they respect people who take their defense into their own hands. And that's what I do. Now, the other part of it, and I'll finish this up with this. The other part of it is I hear anti-gun people saying all the time, well, guns are bad. I'm like, do you realize most people actually, everybody I know who carries guns legally never hopes the day will come where they have to shoot another person. All of us don't want that to happen, or at least most of us. I don't. I'd rather save my shooting for the range, but it's more of a security issue. Because with what's going on now, forget cops. I don't trust most people I'm around like that. So.
Oh, I didn't leave you guys. It's just a racket in here, so I muted myself. I'll be back in a second.
There you go. That's all I really had to say on that one.
You know, it's funny. Give me 1 second here. Let me step out. Give me 1 second. I should mute this.
But I'll say this one last thing, and I know somebody's
go ahead.
response is, you can't rely on the police for your protection.
You know, it's in regards to what you said about people who are like anti-gun or whatever, I found that a lot of people. Let me do this again. It's going to cut out a second. Let me step outside again. Hold on.
And there he goes.
Anyway, I have a neighbor. She was mugged at gunpoint before I met her. And ever since, she's always been anti-gun. So when I started getting guns, I never told her about it, but she stopped by one day when I had just purchased a new rifle. And I'm busy, breaking it down, putting it back together. And she walks in like, you need to put that away. And I'm like, wait a minute, you're in my house. So tell me what to do. But, in respect of a visitor, I put it away. About 4 or 5 years later, there's a knock. It's her. She's like, I have a question. So, yeah. Says, what do I have to do to get a pistol? Now, you have to understand that I'm typically one to like to figure out what's really happening before I say anything. So when she said this, I was probably looking at her for like 10 minutes like an idiot. Like, what do you mean? How can you get a pistol? You're like queen anti-gun of the world. Why would you want a pistol? Explain. So apparently there was some family feud, some extended family. Somebody apparently dropped word that if something happens to her, she should have seen it coming or should expect it. So she took that as a literal threat and wanted to get a gun to protect herself. Now, see, in my mind, this is people who are anti-gun perpetuating the gun myth that guns kill people. No. People are really worried when guns find their way into the wrong hands. And somebody as emotionally insecure as she was about her safety, who had never been around guns, is the last person who should own one. And that's how I felt about it. So I'm like, no, I'm not going to tell you, you can get a gun if you want to, but I'm not going to have a hand in that until you and I go to the range a lot, until you're comfortable around guns a lot, until I see that you don't have a gun as a last resort. I mean, as anything but a last resort, because you about to do that. Anybody come knocking on the door, you gonna blow, and that's typically when people say, "Oh, I told you guns kill." It's in the hands of the wrong people. So I mean, I'm really just like you, DK. I really am tired of hearing people who are so anti-gun, and when you ask them why, because it kills people. I'm like, wait a minute, what do you mean it kills people?
Guns don't kill people.
It's
People
right.
kill people.
People, right. That's my point exactly. What do you mean guns kill people? And the funny thing is when they say it, look at Sandy Hook. Look at all this. I'm like, that was a rifle in the hands of a kid. Any one of these things you see, that's a totally isolated one of the situations that real gun owners strive to avoid. But yeah. So. But anyway, hey Chris. Oh, he just muted. Okay. I thought he was back.
Yo, what up? What up? What up?
No, I had a thought. It was something that David said, and I didn't know if you had. See, I because of where I live, like I told them, and I guess of my personality, I can't see the interaction with any kind of cop that would ever make me afraid. Okay, I can't. I've seen bad. But I didn't know if you. Where do you live, Chris?
I'm in Tennessee, Memphis, Tennessee.
Tennessee. Okay. You got any horror stories or any good stories? I mean, on average, what's the temperament you have around police?
No, I don't, man, because I'm like DK says, when I deal with the cop, man, it's not hard to do what they ask you to do. It's not hard. All you got to do is do what they ask you to do. Less lives lost. But how many times we got to repeat that? We shouldn't have to keep repeating it. You shouldn't have to tell no grown ass woman. You shouldn't have to tell no grown ass man. You got common sense to know that they are the law. But see, most of these motherfuckers, which trips me out, is they be in the wrong and want to talk shit to the cops. How the fuck does that work?
Okay, I will give you.
You take court to the streets. You get the fucked up outcome.
I was going to say, it's a lot of children having children, so that childish mentality is being spread around. So when you have children having children, no one knows how to respect authority because they are not authority themselves.
Thank you. And these kids, they the worst.
Be an adult.
These kids the worst, especially down here in Memphis. These kids are something else. Somebody put some like Frosted Flakes or something. These kids down here are so fucking ridiculous, man. And you can't say shit to them. Because the parents gonna come back and say something to you. But you trying to help save a life. You trying to help us save a life. Make that make sense. It used to be a point in time where a village can raise a child. It's not like that no more. It's only one person raise their child. And that one person, they gonna tell you don't say shit to their child. Because you know why? They always claim I know my child. Now I've said this on numerous shows I have done. And it's getting worse and worse. Take that boy for instance, that I brought to Brother Max, who lost his life. He riding around in the car, pointing guns at everybody. That gun look real. What the fuck was his folks at? What the fuck were his folks at?
That's why I feel bad that I don't feel bad about it, because a lot of this stuff, it's like, seriously, if a police tells you to get on the ground, you don't tell them what you're not going to do. You get on the ground, comply, because the less resistance you give them, the less reason they have to try to shoot you or whatever. But a lot of people don't understand that they want to hold court in the middle of the street. It's you need to just comply. If they tell you, well, I'm going to detain you, you're going to be like, okay. And then when you get there, I want a lawyer.
Thank you.
All right.
Hold on, bro. Let me respond to that. First of all, let me get a shout out to my man, DJ Smooth just made it. What's going on, my guy? And I like what you said, and that's right. And it's getting ridiculous in the homes. Like I said in one of my earlier shows, I don't know which one, but Don't you know you got kids now? They don't call their mom and dad mom and dad. They call them by their first name, and the parents allow this shit to happen.
I just want to say one quick thing. I
Hold
don't know
on,
what
hold on. I dare you call your parent by your first name, you finna get fucked up.
I don't. I'm sorry. I just wanted to say to EK. I didn't hang up on you, bro. I just was. I just got a phone call that I had to take. So.
Oh, you
No.
good, bro?
I saw you
You
pop
ain't
back
playing.
up.
You
I know.
good, bro?
How. Yeah, I know.
You good,
No.
bro?
But I have a question,
No.
Anna and Chris. I have a question. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm all
Go ahead,
for
bro.
the. I'm all for the compliance. Here's the question. I'm all for the compliance arguments because what's his name? In Ferguson. What's his name? Brown. Okay. He charged the cop. What's the other dude's name? Oh God, I had it on the tip of my tongue just now. Yeah, Freddie Gray, Baltimore. Thank you. We can say stuff like that. My question is, 50% of the time, you can say yes, they were belligerent, they didn't obey commands, right? Okay. Interactions with cops. This dude in Tulsa, his truck was in the middle of the goddamn highway. Not like he was in the back of a 7-Eleven doing a drug deal or anything nefarious. Okay. Now, all told, he had no choice but to have that interaction with cops, and the degree of noncompliance there. They've got video, but the audio isn't really clear as to like what they were telling him to do. Because I've seen some of these where somebody says, "Put your hands up." Somebody say, "Get out the car." Somebody say, "Don't move." You got 4 or 5 people yelling at you. You know what I'm saying? If you don't put your hands down and open the door, he feels you're not compliant. You start to move. That guy thinks you're not compliant. You put your hands down. The other guy thinks you're not compliant. The first person to let the shot off was the one you disrespected.
Yeah, but
The
that
guy in
wasn't.
Florida.
I'm
No, the
not
guy in
saying.
Florida was on the ground. The guy in Florida was on the ground, hands up.
But here's a question. Here's a question for you guys. I'll just add a little bit. But is just non-compliance a reason to kill somebody?
Thank you, Dave. That's where I was going.
No, it's not.
Non-compliance. I can understand if you point that 13-year-old who died because he pointed a gun. Fuck you. I'm sorry. Your parents should have taught you better. You pointed a gun. I don't care if it's real or not.
Thank you.
I know.
Myself.
People try to. Yeah.
And if the police, and let me tell you, as an average citizen who carries myself, I can tell you, the police probably gave that kid more benefit of the doubt than your average citizen would have. All I'm gonna see if it was me, all I'm gonna see is the fact that you're pointing something that resembles a real gun, whether it is or not, at me. I'm gonna do something about it. So that
was my thing. I mean, don't get me wrong. I can hear the non-compliant arguments all day, and I can agree with them. My problem is there's a lot of instances in which you really can't non-compliant. And again, the degree of non-compliance. It's like, okay, so you tell there was one guy who was shot because they told him to either stand up or do something, and was like either suffered a stroke or was half paralyzed, so he couldn't do it, and he got shot. Like, come on.
Somebody's
I don't know. It's almost like they use the.
I'm sorry.
I don't.
I can't kick it and make it shut up.
Hey, Cassidy.
Hey.
She hungry or something. Jealous, man. Mommy.
I thought for a second I thought that was EK working in an animal shelter or something.
At first, I thought that was my cat.
Get out, the whore.
Anyway. But and to be honest with you, and that's why I feel bad because I legitimately sometimes want to go up to cops on a random just because nobody does that. I've done it before. Hey, pull over real quick. Like, why? He doing his job. He on break. Walking up to him and saying, "What's up?" I mean, technically, if you don't right now, like, man, you crazy? Why you do that shit? I'm like, look, if I'm around cops, I'm not worried. I'm not going to act any kind of way. When you're nervous, you do things that you don't think are suspicious. You start quivering. Your responses are not, because you're nervous.
You're not coherent at all.
Right. So, but if you're around them all the time and you have no reason to be afraid of them, even if something bad's about to happen, you won't be the cause of that. If you're unnecessarily calm in a situation where a cop thinks something's going wrong, he might rethink why he thought something's going on.
Think
Okay,
about
so
what
I
If you walk
just
up on me and
one of
think
the
about what a lot of
experience I've had with the cops here is so I don't know if anyone plays Pokemon Go, but I mean it was a big thing in my neighborhood there's a hospital and the cops sit out for a while. It was the middle of the night. Me and one of my neighbors, I walk up to the car, I'm like, are you playing Pokemon Go? And so I mean I didn't feel like I should have been scared, but it was like, what is he really doing? I'm like, he looked bored out of his mind. And I mean, people forget that cops are people too. That's why, I mean, you can't always justify the shootings, but at the same time, you gotta be like, okay, he was arresting, he was resisting, he was not compliant. When I say compliant, I mean literally like no resistance. I mean, if someone's on the floor and they're just doing that, but if you're fighting the cops and they're like, stop moving, we're gonna have to pepper spray you or tase you or whatever, and you're still doing the stuff that could potentially get you killed, I'm not gonna say you deserve it, but it's somewhat understandable.
don't. Here's the thing. Why, if you're dealing with the police, why are you pulling out anything? You know they're on edge.
Right?
They have a reason to be on edge. They deal with people they don't know, and most of them aren't good people. So they're gonna see something. If you pull out something that has an L shape and resembles a gun, well, you just gave them the reason.
Ooh.
If you pull out anything, you're making them do something.
We should also try to enforce of that cops need to patrol their neighborhood. Because if a cop patrols their neighborhood, then they're gonna know so and so. They're gonna know how that this person can't always hear you, or that this person needs you to repeat things a couple of times. But if you're not from that neighborhood, you don't know the person like you should, and that's what makes.
Well, think about this. A lot of people now, and it's really sad. A lot of people now teach their kids. And this problem is only going to get worse if you ask me, because of what people are teaching their kids. They teach them to not comply. They teach them to do this crap. So you can't tell me this problem is going to get better when I'm seeing kids literally or figuratively saying "fuck the police."
No, and I absolutely disagree with that. I have to teach my little sister, okay, you know what? Yeah, these things are happening with the cops, but if you are generally a good person and I never move my hands on the steering wheel. Even if they tell me, like, when I got pulled over for my speeding ticket, I didn't have my ID on my person. It was in my bag in the back seat. So I was like, is it okay if I grab it? I'm like, it's right behind me. And so he was watching, and I didn't feel like I was going to get shot because it was like, I moved slowly. I didn't try to grab for anything else. I went straight for my bag and pulled out my wallet.
Well,
Thank you.
Here's the thing, right?
And I mean, my parents didn't teach me that, though.
What you do is correct, because a lot of legal experts will tell you, don't be reaching for, because think about this, especially at night. The cop is behind you. He sees you reaching for a bunch of stuff. He doesn't know what you're doing.
Exactly.
The best thing to do is to sit there, wait for him to ask, and tell him exactly where you're reaching and why you're going there.
Yeah, but people always, they want to be like, well, I pay the cop's salary. It's like, you do indirectly, but that does not give you power over them. They're the force. And I'm really sick and tired of people trying to be like, oh, well, the cops work for me. They need to serve and protect. They do protect. They're protecting the community. It's not always about you. And it really...
You're paying to...
Yeah, you're paying for protection. If you don't want cops in your neighborhood, police your own neighborhood. Keep the people who are causing trouble out of your neighborhood.
And what I said about protection, if you don't want to rely on the police for protection, get your own. Do it yourself.
Thank you. I don't know about y'all cities, but I know in my city, if the cops pull you over, they're not going to come directly to your window. They're going to stand like right by your passenger window before they come close to you, because they taking precautions.
And it also depends, because they might come to the driver's side too, though.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hey, they be
There go
rolling
Black.
up on you like gang members.
There go Black. What up, homie?
What's up, man? I'm in and out, man. I'm at work, so
I
I'm
am
trying
too,
to
bro.
like,
I am too,
yeah.
bro.
But
Yeah, man.
I really think people need to start teaching respect again, respect and common sense.
Thank
Most
you.
people don't have respect for each other, let alone
But there's
police.
all these people that they're really teaching their kids to be disrespectful, like with the whole Korean
Yes.
Games thing.
Yes.
And that, I was like, that poor child was put in a
Right.
difficult situation because you're supposed to respect the authority, but then your mom's telling you not to respect them.
That's why you seeing so many kids whooping on these teachers in school and shit because they parents.
Their parents are some assholes. That's the problem.
Parents assholes just like the kids, and you touch them,
Well,
they
see,
clown on them. That's
it
why when they
all
police, what story was that Tommy did when that police yanked that guy out that damn desk? He did. I had no problem with it, but he lost his job for it. I had no problem with it. I would have yanked the little bitch too.
yeah, it all
I
goes
look at
back to kids raising kids.
I look at it
Thank
this way,
you.
right? If you're, I don't know if I'm the youngest person on the panel. I'm 27, but even when I was growing up, I never once in my 12 years of grade school or 13 years saw a kid literally physically assault a teacher like that.
Sorry, David, I beat you. I'm only 23.
Okay, I wasn't sure.
Are you?
Yes.
Wow, I would have never known.
Thank you.
Would never know. But you know what? That's cool though, because the way you talking, just like Brother Max. I don't know where he went to, but
He's like 19.
y'all, yeah, the young generation like that gives people like me hope. But
Don't worry, I'm a little disappointed with the future generation, but that's why I'm doing one
yes, I
step
am
at a
too.
time with my sister. I'm
I
like,
just
my
think
sister
like
is
when
my
it comes
girl.
to the younger generation, man, there aren't enough, because look, when you say younger generation like David Kelly, a lot of people that's in Soto Nation who, you know, have who think with common sense and have respect and all that good stuff.
Right.
You still got to look at the millions and millions of like just fatherless, raised in the hood, Ed 209s.
I think a lot of it comes from the fact that the people who do have common sense, the people who are educated about stuff, they're looked down upon. They're teased, they're bullied. I'm like,
exactly,
because I know Spanish, I had girls in my high school telling me, girl, you black. You don't need to be speaking that Mexican.
What the fuck?
Oh,
anyway,
shit.
this is, you want to know the sad part is, right? I do a lot of, because of what people were saying. If the older generation, like, let's just say me, if I want to affect even the slightest bit of change in the generation coming up behind me, which are younger kids at this point, I have to go do something. I have to reach out, and that's what I do.
Mm-hmm.
But this is the thing, and this is the thing. A lot of people are so self-absorbed in what they're doing, they don't have time to do that.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh, I have to go to school. I don't have time for you today.
You know what the thing is? As I said before, this is why, and if y'all don't know about it, and Chris, sorry, I'm gonna put a little plug in here. If y'all don't know about it, I started with Tommy's okay.
I gotta say something real fast. I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry, David. I'm sorry, but like so in some cases you can't reach out, man, because you might reach out the wrong way and bring back a nub.
Well,
it happens a lot. And that's when you walk away and say, fuck you, I'm going.
A few of the people in here know about this, but I started with Tommy's Okay, a group on Facebook called Soto Community Impact. It's just basically trying to encourage people to do those things. If you don't like how the next generation is coming up, you can do something about it. And Black, I actually appreciate you cutting me off because you reminded me of something I was going to say before. Do you know, because most of my volunteer work involves working with kids, and because I am a male, that I have been called a pedophile probably 5 times by people who actually know me?
Shit.
Wow.
Do you know how sick? Do you know how sick that is?
Now I help nothing but boys, but I've never had an issue like that.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing, and I think it's so sad that people are calling, because there is such a shortage of men who actually want to do this type of stuff.
And it makes you not want to reach out though.
And you can ask Chastity. I reached out to her last night because I don't pretend to know everything. I was stuck on something. I'm not going to go into what it was, but I didn't know what to do. I was like, I'm drawing a blank here. But that's the thing. That effort is what is important. Not being perfect. I think a lot of people think you have to be perfect to do this. No. You just have to be a well-intentioned person and set a good example. See, I'm a lot more careful when I go out.
I think you have to be well-intentioned, but at the same time educated, because you can do some things with the best intentions, and it ends up going south.
Well, the first thing especially with younger kids, from my experience, you have to know how to communicate. If you can't communicate with adults, don't try with kids.
Yeah.
Right. You know, to me, people who got their mindset that's looking at you helping young kids and automatically think you're a pedophile. Apparently, in my mindset, I'd be like, well, shit, apparently that's what's on your mind.
Exactly.
That's the first thing you think about me. That's the first thing you think about me when you see me with a child. Apparently, it must be on your fucking mind.
Right.
You sick fuck. You sick fuck.
You're obviously,
down here,
and I don't even like saying this phrase, but it's the only way I know how to say it. You're obviously sexualizing children before I am, and I would never do it. So and it's what Chris said, you're obviously sick to some point if you're thinking that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll tell you this much, from what I do and from the kid, just because of the kids I worked with, and it goes along wherever I've lived. I'm more careful. Not that I break laws or do stupid shit anyway, but I'm more careful about how I carry myself when I go out, because there is that chance I could run into one of them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So,
David, let me ask you something. As a matter of fact, I'm asking the whole panel this. I saw something on the news today. I don't know if it was down here in Memphis. I don't know if it's down here in Memphis or not, but this pastor, and that's why I say Christian folks are most hypocritical motherfuckers on this earth, if you ask me. But a pastor has sex with whatever their background. Richard Mike. He had sex with a 15-year-old and he got caught and arrested. So the young lady who was relieving me this morning, I said, you know what? I don't understand grown ass men, especially if this guy was labeled as a pastor, sitting up here having sex with a 15-year-old. All these grown ass women out here, prostitute, whores.
And then go back and preach on Sunday.
And then go back and preach on Sunday or whatever.
Jesus.
I said, what the fuck is wrong with these folks?
Religion is the biggest problem.
Hold on. And I think it's quite interesting what she said. She said, because people talk about his dick. He tired of people talking about his dick. At first, I thought it was a stupid answer, but then I thought about what she was saying. Maybe that's right. You know, if he try to get with a grown woman, if he ain't packing like she wanted, she's gonna talk about it. About a young who trying to get introduced to it, she might not say nothing about it. What y'all think about that?
Yeah, but why is a 15-year-old looking at an older man that way?
Well,
that's the same question.
It could be numerous of reasons. It could be numerous of reasons. You know, maybe she being touched. Maybe she watching porn. And it make her feel some kind of way. Maybe she being raped.
Here's the thing.
You know, it can be a few things.
I'm sorry.
That's my opinion.
I know this applies to some people we all know, but why? I think 40 to 50-year-old men dating 18 or 19-year-old women, or if you fall on the gay side, 18, 19-year-old guys. I think that's a little bit weird. I'm not going to equate it to anything else, but I think it's a little strange, actually.
Like
because you were 18 before this person was even born.
Just like Aaron just said, these teachers fucking these students. Knowing damn well these young niggas getting their dick wet, they gonna go back and say something about it.
And
Oh,
guess
Then
yeah.
they
what?
gonna say something about it. Then when they go back and say something about it, you know the other dudes gonna want to get their dick wet too.
And guess what? Whether people want to believe it or not, our schools, and I've seen this 100% of the time, our schools are dominated by women.
Yes.
You can't tell me that it's men doing it a majority of the time in schools specifically when you have an overwhelmingly female population.
Thank you.
It's
Thank
female.
you.
It's females in schools, males in
Female.
churches,
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
and
The
that's
fact-
because in school you have the kids always talking about the teacher, and they're being over sexualized at home,
Thank you.
bringing it to school, and then if a teacher is with somebody, you'll have even the parents being like, well, why is she dating so and so? It's like, why do you care? She's your child's teacher. She's not your child's friend. And then
I've
in
seen-
churches, you have people being like, oh, the pastor must be gay because he doesn't have a wife. It's
Thank
like
you.
he swore his life to God, and then if he doesn't give his life to God, then everyone's like, oh, well, he's gay, or he must be messing with little boys. And it's like, please,
Right.
if
And
you
let
don't
me
want, oh yeah, go ahead.
no, let me piggyback. I ain't mean to cut you off, but let me piggyback before I lose my thought. Now, let me piggyback what you just said. You mentioned church, and you're absolutely right. I would never call a male pastor gay, although some is, but I would never just really call them gay. Well, no, I guess I'd call them bi, because the male pastors in church seem like they'll fuck everybody and anything.
But that's
But
also from religion itself, because religion prohibits sexual relations in
Right.
some
Here's-
cases.
Here's the thing. You have, I've seen this personally. It's not just hearsay on my end. I've seen teachers show up to school.
Oh yeah, sorry, Celine. Hey boo, how you doing?
Hey.
I've seen teachers show up to school, and we've all heard about this. I've seen teachers show up to school dressed like they're gonna go work at the strip club afterwards.
Thank you. Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
I personally, in my schools, I don't know if they had a dress code, but we didn't have that. All our teachers dressed like the 50s, but then they would get called out about it. And it's like, what, do you want them to dress like they're going to a strip club, or do you want them to dress like a professional?
Let me compare this real fast. If I showed up, now this is gonna sound a little sick, but you'll understand where I'm going. If I show up to the school with skinny jeans on, where you can literally see an imprint of my dick, and a muscle shirt on, how do you think they're gonna react?
They're gonna focus where you don't.
David.
They're gonna focus where you don't want them to focus at, but because of what you're wearing, and humans are naturally visual creatures, they're gonna be looking at your reproductive organ.
But no, I'd get kicked out of the school and
Sorry.
probably arrested. Probably arrested, actually.
Right.
I make sure when I go to schools, I'm wearing the most conservative clothing I possibly can.
My shit's covered. I don't care where I'm going at.
Exactly.
I don't even wear shirts, like, I'm so careful, I don't even wear shirts with writing on it. Because I think, well, maybe they can misconstrue it somehow. So I just wear plain shirts.
Right.
Because I know, even though it's a false stigma, there's a stigma against men in schools. I know this exists. So what is my job? My job is to not even come close to that. So.
And I don't even see what a woman would want with a 12 or 13-year-old dick. What can he do? Well, apparently they doing something. They keep doing it. They apparently the 13-year-old doing something for them to do it. Yeah, he need to teach me some skills. Then where was he? Where was he at when I want to fuck a few teachers? Where was he at?
My question is, it seems to me that teachers don't seem to have a dress code.
Apparently they don't.
You look at that. Who should have the dress code more? The teachers or the students? Who should have a stricter dress code?
Our kids have to wear uniforms in the state, and the teachers have a dress code.
But you know what though? They started a uniform shit, especially down here in Memphis. You know, because I guess the girls was coming in with their little tight little clothes on, like they came from the club, and the men just came in with the pants sagging, but they still doing the same thing with the uniforms. But only now they got the uniforms, and the chicks just wearing them where it fit their bodies. So you really not changing nothing, because they
Chris,
always
please,
gonna find a way around it to make their body show.
I
please tell
know
me,
in my
please tell
high
me you weren't the
Parents'
dude.
fault.
Go ahead.
That's the
Sorry.
parents' fault.
I was gonna say in my high school, if you had anything that was inappropriate, or if your shirt was on too tight, or your pants were too close,
They send you home.
they gave you clothes from the lost and found, or like
Yeah,
school
That's
sweat.
disgusting.
Yep.
Cool.
Yep.
Yep.
You would
Over
end up
here
with
too.
like sweatpants that were too big for you, and it was like, well, you can either, well, they didn't want to send you home because they don't want you to lose out on your education. And so if you were showing, if your shirt was really low cut and you didn't have a backup shirt, they would give you like the oversized school swag shirt.
But let me ask you this, Chris. This is more towards you, with what you're talking about with
Okay.
how kids dress in school. Please tell me, and this is kind of a joke, but please tell me you weren't the guy who was wearing skinny jeans to school.
Oh my God.
For some reason, that was a slight suspicion I had for a second, and I have to make sure.
Well, DK, I don't know. Back then they called them skinny jeans, but keep in mind I'm an '80s baby now, so back then you wear what you wear. But those age Wranglers, Rustlers, Stonewash, Oshkosh Bagosh, Buster Browns, Pro Wings. So
Yeah,
I
don't
mean,
even think those were skinny jeans.
if there was a
though.
such thing as skinny jeans, it wasn't back then.
But see,
Chris,
here's the thing.
those
Those-
were real jeans when we were young. What
No,
people
those are fit
what people
jeans. They
I'm
fit
sorry,
you.
but I don't understand.
I can't stop laughing. That's funny. That's funny.
I don't understand why people can't wear jeans that actually fit that. I don't get this. Like, you see people like, seriously, okay,
man.
everybody knows like where your pants curve and that's your crotch. Dudes are wearing
Yeah.
pants where their crotch curves up by their knees. I'm like, your balls are not hanging that low, bro. Oh, Chris can tell you. These are the conversations
Oh
I have
man,
with
man, you
him
crazy,
one-on-one.
baby. But you're right though, brother. You're right.
What
we
I
come a
think
long way.
is in college, we have a lot of people that they'll wear the yoga pants, but they'll bring them up so tight so you can see the imprint of the female area. And I'm like, even if I was a lesbian, that is so unattractive.
I'm sorry, but let me ask you this: when did it become? When I was raised,
Oh my God.
it was never acceptable to wear gym
Lord have
shorts
mercy.
in public, to school or whatnot. When did
You think
I
so,
see it
Celine?
all the time now?
You think so?
When does it become acceptable to wear gym shorts to school all the time? I see it in my college all the time too. I'm like, what? I'm like, that's for home or the gym. That's how I was taught.
Hey, hold on. For anybody else say anything, I want to appreciate everybody who got on the panel. I want to appreciate Brother Max for coming back on. I don't know what happened because I was in and out. I just came back. I didn't see him on the panel anymore, but salute to you, brother. I hope it's not your last time coming on the panel. It feels good to be back. Like I said, I took a little short vacation. Had to get some things straightened out or whatnot because I had people ask me about shows, but kind of left it alone for a while. So it's good. Anna, thank you so much, dear. Hope you come back again. Thank you so much. I always love a new face.
Well, I told you I finally subscribed, so now I get notifications from you.
All right. All right.
I don't know what's wrong with my shit.
Everybody, even though I've been gone for a minute, everybody's still showing the same support. So I love y'all for that. I see Alex that made it in. Shout out to my man DJ Smooth, always showing support. Love it.
Chris, you
King
know what
Girl.
the funniest shit is?
King Girl. Hold on, just a minute, bro. King Girl came in. What's up with you, my guy? Y'all, we're gonna get ready to go into the after show. The after show is once we get through with the live broadcast, we still be on the panel. As a matter of fact, I think we have more fun on the after show than we do the live show. Am I right, Chad?
Most of the time.
we have fun on the after show than we do on the live panel. So what I'm gonna get ready to do, I'm gonna post that link in there. So y'all want to come on, for the ones who don't want to come on live.
Is Joshua still in there?
y'all want to come on the after show and still talk, y'all can. But I'm gonna
Well,
leave this time. I'm gonna let this time for DK. I think he want to say something while we still live. And anybody else who want to say something while we still live, this your chance now. But I'm gonna get ready to shut it down, and
okay,
I'm
okay.
post it.
I want to say this.
And
Go
y'all come
ahead.
on
I'm
the after
sorry.
show. I'll let y'all run
Mike,
the
go
after
ahead.
show. Y'all do whatever y'all want on the after show. So
Yeah, I
go
would.
ahead, brother.
Hey, Celine, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
It's my first time ever hearing your voice, so I had to pick with you. I'm sorry, but I had to do it. And what I was gonna say is like, I've been seeing your picture for months. Why it look like you about to fall down them steps, lady?
Actually, I was in Naples, Italy, posing for that picture, actually, and trying to look sexy for my husband.
Go
Oh,
ahead, girl.
it's
Go
a cute
ahead.
picture. I was just picking with you. Go ahead, David. I just want to pick with Celine because I never heard her voice. I was like, hey, Celine, hey, yo.
Hey, bro, you know what? I get that honor every time because everybody be like, I ain't heard Chaz before. I ain't heard Celine voice, man. They on Chris Penner. What happened? I feel honored that they do that, bro. I feel honored.
Chastity,
So,
I noticed something about Chastity. She only speaks when it's absolutely necessary for her to speak. She doesn't say a lot of extra shit.
I don't like people, David. I'm sorry.
I don't either. I fake it very well though.
Yeah, I know a lot of people that do that.
let me get ready to shut this down. Y'all want to say something while we still live? This your opportunity. If
Come
not,
join the
we have a
verbal.
whole.
Come join the verbal orgy that is after the show.
And make sure communication is the key to healthy
Okay, wait, that's not
relationships.
right. He goes from skinny
Verbal
jeans to
orgy.
that.
Communication
Verbal
is the
orgy.
key to healthy relationships.
Okay.
Thank you,
Once again,
Anna.
yeah. Once again,
You know
Anna.
what, DK?
Oh, yeah, I
I'm
want
gonna
to also say fart in public is healthy.
Of course.
Well,
Don't
this gonna
trust
be
a.
a cool after show. It's gonna be a cool one already.
You can't trust it. You can't trust a fart all the time, Black.
I
Oh
know,
my
right?
God.
Especially walking behind somebody, man.
I
God
learned
damn.
not to be too much information here, but I learned that shit today.
Oh my God.
Oh, you mean you can't trust your own? Yeah, I know what you mean. I know what you're talking about.
Man, y'all tripping. Well, then y'all, I post a link in there if y'all got it. Make sure y'all copy it. We finna go into the after show as always. Thank y'all. I'm back. Finna get back in effect, and so y'all come join us for the after show. All right.